Because what better way to go live than to like go live after I screw up my whole like, oh, we're going live. You guys are not responding to me. That's the best thing ever. We're live, by the way. Holy crap! I got an ad. That was loud. That was loud. That was really loud. Like blew up in my ears type of loud because I have like the volume pretty damn high in my headphones. So yeah.
Nice one.
Oh, do I have an echo coming from somebody?
No.
No? You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Be like that. Do you want music to be playing in this? I don't know if we're playing music or not tonight.
I mean, I either way, I'm going to have it muted because I need to concentrate on your guys' voices.
Well, I'm saying, like, how can you have the music muted if... Oh, well, you wouldn't hear it in Discord anyways.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Whee!
Proud of you. Hey, Destiny 2 is doing its final preload. Sweet.
How many hours are left on that?
I have Google Fiber. It's already done.
Well,
I hate you.
Shut up, okay? I'm still on DSL over here. All right, like I live in the boondocks that we ain't got like.
Hang on.
If I want to go to the market, I gotta go 10 minutes out to get to the market.
Hang on. Let me see here.
Nobody cares about your Google Fiber.
Oh, what's my speed right now?
Shut up. That's your speed.
Let's see
Omni,
here.
stop flexing.
850 megabytes per second.
Listen. I know. Okay, Google Stadia was not on the topic, but we're gonna talk about this right now, just because, just because you're bringing up Google Fiber. Okay, Google Stadia was made for people like you who have Google Fiber. Okay.
Yeah.
Not for people like me who are on DSL and my upload per second is 2 megabit per second upload speed. And my download is 25 megabits per second download speed. So it's not made for me. It's made for you with your Google Fiber and your fancy internet.
You can't see it right now, but I'm holding up a heart. I still love you.
No. You can take that.
If you want to just reach over and smack him, I can donate.
Well, I would have to drive a good... How long did it take?
How many hours was that?
Let's see. From Tallahassee. I don't live in Tallahassee, but from Tallahassee to Atlanta, it took about 6 hours.
All right. How long is it from you to Tallahassee?
Oh, yeah. Add another 4 hours to that. So 10-hour drive for me.
Cool. That'll give me time to prep.
I'll go over there and give you like the biggest smack of life.
About 7 hours for me to get to Atlanta from here.
Where are you in? You told me and I forgot.
I'm in Roanoke, Virginia. So what? 3 hours.
Yeah, I forget because I got short-term memory loss. No, I don't. But you know, I just forget if I don't. If I'm not
There's
told
no
every
reason
day.
to remember it.
Yeah, it's we live on the internet now, so it's whatever. All right, so let's get to topics today. Welcome everybody to GamerKast. We haven't done a GamerKast in a while, Omni.
No, we haven't.
No.
I want to say about 6 months almost.
Let's
Maybe
see.
not that long.
No, we did one for. We didn't do one for E3. We did one for what was the other one? Was it PlayStation Experience was the last one we did?
I think so.
But that was early in the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was earlier in the year because that was when we found out Sony wasn't going to E3.
That's right. So yes, that's been a while. God, maybe it wasn't. No, I think it was the Game Awards.
No, Game Awards was just us live reacting to it. I thought we did one for E3. I thought we did one for like a prediction.
Maybe I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been a while. I would have to like literally go through the list of your videos.
Jesus, don't do that. That's too many videos.
Although
although you could probably just type in. It's a lot of what?
A lot of SAO.
Not as much as you would think. You could probably just type in like GamerKast in there and it'd pop up really fast. But anyways, it's been a while, and usually we'd have Mike in here as well with us, and some random other fourth person that's usually part of our community, whether it's my cousin or somebody else. But today we have Zelos and Omnitoast, but Omnitoast we don't care about.
We did one. I think I jumped into it at the last minute because you guys were starting early. It was 5 months ago when we did PlayStation 5 news and Nintendo Switch Mini.
Yeah, you had to work.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I came in late.
Yeah,
I
so
knew it.
so I was trying to get Scythe in here as well, but he's working late apparently. So today's topics, because there's so much, like, okay, there's so much video game news. I don't have the time to cover everything like on my channel, and what better way to cover a whole bunch of different topics than to have a podcast? So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna have a podcast. Those of you guys watching can put us up in the background or whatever. If you guys watching want me to play some music, I'll play some music. I don't care. Omni, if you want to share the podcast on your channel, be my guest.
I'd love to.
Yeah. So
Actually, well.
I should probably share it all over the place too, and I keep on forgetting to do that lately. I don't know why. Just doesn't click in my head to promote myself that much anymore. I don't know what it is about that, but whatever. It's besides the point. Anyways, today's topics, our main topics anyways, is the Modern Warfare issue, Mario Kart Tour, Switch Lite problems, and video games being released in October, because there's a ton of them. And so, like I said, we got Zelos joining today, who, by the way, Zelos is, I guess this is your official introduction, that Zelos is joining my, I don't know what this isn't it's not a squad. I mean, we have like a media group.
Posse. How about a posse?
Posse? Nah, that sounds too, I don't know. I don't roll with a posse. I mean, it's not my.
Let's
my
just
thing.
be real. He's just a groupie.
No,
Oh.
no.
No.
No. But I guess like media group. Let's just call it media group, because I mean we have our Rumble Pack Media, which we don't really do too much with it right now because everybody's doing their own thing. But one of my dreams, I guess you could say, is being able to have like my own sort of media group, like turning the channel into something bigger, having my own studio and having people like in the studio and stuff like that. And I like one step at a time, because we're small, we're all small. And so everything's over the internet, so that's why we're able to do what we're doing today. And so Zelos is here to help me with different things that I might need as far as like channel wise goes. And so Zelos has his first project, which you guys will be seeing very soon, if Zelos can finish the damn game. And
Oh, what? Come on. I'm playing my butt off on that one.
I know, I'm just teasing you, because I mean, let's be honest, they're RPGs. RPGs are freaking massive, man. And that's one of the reasons why I love RPGs. You always get your money's worth out of it. Any game that you can sink tons and tons of hours, you get your money's worth. We pay $60, $50 plus actually for these days, because weird enough, video games are getting cheaper. And I don't know if maybe that's because of all the microtransactions that they tend to throw in them, but regardless, 50 plus for a brand new game these days. And if, like I said, you can get 50, 60 plus hours in that game, you got your money's worth. You had fun playing it and stuff like that. And that goes for any game, shooters included. So Zelos, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for everything. And tell, I guess, everybody about yourself a little bit, just really quick. Don't freaking, you're not trying to accept an Emmy or an Oscar.
Okay. I'm just starting out. I've got my own channel over on Twitch. Going to be focusing on RPGs, maybe occasionally some MMOs, but JRPGs, RPGs is where my passion's at, and I hope to share that with everyone.
All right, that was quick. Omni, what are you playing recently?
A lot of Destiny 2.
Yeah, I've seen that. How are you enjoying your re-dive into Destiny 2? I know that you never stopped playing it, but I guess you're focusing a lot more on it lately. So
yeah,
how are you enjoying that transition to something new?
Honestly, I'm enjoying it a lot because Destiny's always had a big place in my heart. I've met a lot of great people through it. I love the community because they always try to work together, not just for like big causes, but for like this is a very community driven game. Like Bungie listens to their community a lot. So,
well, especially now that they're
I have a lot
not
of
part
fun
of Activision, right?
Yeah, thank God. This is gonna be it tomorrow. Tomorrow's my day.
Yeah, right. So, are you going live tonight?
No, not it. Actually, doesn't drop. They're on right now. Destiny's on a 24-hour maintenance until reset. Their reset is always 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so that's when the game goes live tomorrow.
Okay, so
1 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm. Are you?
So I'll be live 30 minutes beforehand.
Only 30? You should do it like an hour.
I'm thinking about an hour, but right now I'm just thinking about it. Depends on when I wake up because it's also my first day off after like 5 days straight.
Alarm clock.
Me and alarm clocks don't get along.
Have your girlfriend wake you up.
Yeah, probably. But then I'll get distracted with. Never mind. Anyway,
Yeah, no, we're not trying to turn it into a adult rated stream.
But yes, I've been getting back into Destiny. It's been a lot of fun because I've actually gone back and farmed up weapons I didn't have for my account. So it was actually a lot of fun going through a lot of those challenges that I didn't attempt with my first time around.
I'm gonna be 100% real with you. It's a good feeling seeing you do something instead of mobile games.
Oh yes, if it actually feels really good,
doesn't it? It's almost
really
like you're going to rehab.
Yeah. Mobile Gamers Anonymous.
Yeah, that's really like that should be a real thing, to be honest with you, because people are addicted to them, and it's bad, and it's getting worse. That's the other problem, but we'll get to that in a minute. So,
but it's not been just that. It's also the fact that you brought me into DLive.
Yeah,
and
which
that's
is like,
what sort of sparked this.
It's like a whole new start, honestly. Like over
Mhm.
there, people seem to be a lot more friendly. You still have your trolls, just like everywhere else, and
Of
that's
course.
that's how it's gonna be, especially for a newer platform. But I like the people over there. The community is very accepting, which is cool.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for me, I've been playing a lot of Trails of Cold Steel. That's just a lot of Trails of Cold Steel.
How many hours, Gotians?
Well,
the
first game took 75 hours to finish, and that's with me putting on turbo mode and skipping scenes in the game.
Dear God.
So that's insane, and I did that. It took me like 2 weeks, and now I'm trying to finish the second one in half that time. So instead of in 2 weeks, I'm trying to finish it in 1 week, because then I got to play the third one. But then we got October coming up, and I'm going to be doing like a whole bunch of horror games as well. So I'm trying to like get everything done so that way I can do what I plan to do.
Yeah.
But you know how it is. Things get in the way, and plans don't typically go how you want them to go. So with that, as far as like plans not going how you want them to go, that's a good segue into Modern Warfare. So I'm not big on shooters, but I do keep up with the news and stuff like that. Omni sent an ice cream. What are you doing? But yeah, so that's a good way. You know what? You just reminded me. I don't have my chat box open up. Like I don't mean to put it on stream, but like just so I can see it. And the people watching will address the chat and stuff like that towards the end of the podcast. We'll go ahead and take topics that you guys might want to talk
But
about.
I'm gonna agree with Warrior 620. Activision freaking sucks.
Yeah, well they didn't always. They didn't always.
No, they didn't. I blame the success of Modern Warfare 2.
You blame the success of Modern Warfare 2?
Mm-hmm. It was at that point Activision went downhill.
Well, so the reason why we have the kind of cast, I guess you could say, for this podcast is because Omni, you're big on first-person shooters. I would like to have had Mike in here because he's big on that type of genre as well, and that way we can have a little bit more in-depth discussion between the two of you and stuff like that. But it is what it is. He's probably asleep because I think he streamed for like 10 hours or something like that.
I was gonna say, wasn't he streaming Breakpoint?
Yeah, he streamed Breakpoint from 6 a.m. my time, and I think he stopped around, I want to say like 3 or 4 p.m. our time. It was nuts. He streamed for a long time, so he's probably hibernating right now.
Yeah, he deserves it. Hard work deserves good rest.
Yeah. So Modern Warfare has gotten a lot of heat since it got announced. People were saying, "Oh, it's too realistic. Oh my God, freaking, they're clutching their pearls that the game is too violent." But that's typically how these games are. I mean, like you buy these games and you know what they're about. Like that's like saying you're gonna buy Grand Theft Auto. I mean, it's in the title of the game. Grand Theft Auto, like you're gonna be doing some bad stuff. Modern Warfare, it's in the title of the game. Modern Warfare, it's a war game. So, I mean, there's games for everybody. You can't just because the game's too violent doesn't mean that you can't enjoy it. Like, let people enjoy what they're gonna enjoy. Omni, do you have anything you want to talk about that regarding like that issue? I mean, before we get on to the next ones.
The whole violent thing, like honestly, I've seen the story trailer for it because I do have a few people at work that play it. I've had people that are like, "Hey, you should you should get, for a lot of people are like, hey, play this game with us. Get it. I've been told to get Modern Warfare. Some people are liking it. They say it is a little bit different than the other games. I might not get it. But the thing is, like, they talk about violence. Like, this genre, this Call of Duty in general has been around for over 10 years.
Right.
Like,
Longer.
If not, I was going to say, if not even longer. And
Way longer.
Way, way longer. And the thing is, though, like, I've seen the story trailer for this new one. Like, we got to remember, Modern Warfare 2 had probably one of the worst, like, missions you could actually play, to the point where they had to be like, hey, you can skip this if you don't want to play. And then that was the no Russian mission.
Okay, I don't know about that one, but
so basically in Modern Warfare 2, there's a mission called No Russian, where you go undercover again, like in the terrorist organization, and they end up shooting up an entire airport.
Oh, I've seen videos on that. Yeah. I remember people talking about that,
Like,
getting all pissed off.
Yeah, that was probably the worst thing they've ever thrown into this game. Like, this game looks calm compared to that. Like, it's a shooter. They're always going to be violent. Like you said with GTA, you're playing a game designed that way.
Right. Yeah, and
that's why
the thing is, like, violence is, just in video games. I mean, that's everywhere. Look at God of War.
Exactly.
I mean, look at Dead Space, Resident Evil.
Mm-hmm.
Like, granted, those games are a little bit different. They're horror, and you're not shooting other people, but still, like, they're still overly violent. Look at Wolfenstein Youngblood. People love that. Like, they love that game. It got high praise. Some people didn't like it, but it got high praise by a lot of people. And
yeah,
that game is super violent. Like,
exactly. But you want to know the one thing they all have in common?
what's that?
They're all rated M.
I know. Exactly. No,
There's a reason
right.
that rating system exists.
Right, and people don't understand that, and they don't want to take that in consideration. Like, I'm not going to allow my kids to play these type of games.
No, I'm not.
They're
Like, if
rated
I
M.
ever had a kid, no. The most my kids will play would be Mario and Pokemon. If I ever had kids.
So, okay, so moving on to the other problem with Modern Warfare, the whole PS4 fiasco. Now, I know, so as we were actually getting ready to start this stream, people posted up in my Discord some updates regarding it. So let's talk about the issue first, and then I'll read this article for us to talk about that they just posted up. Actually, this article is kind of old, but regardless, we'll talk about the problem. So the first issue regarding the whole Modern Warfare thing is me dropping some frames on stream, which doesn't really matter. But anyway, sorry. First issue regarding it is the fact that people who pre-order the game, you're going to pre-order it on whatever console you have. If you have PS4, you're going to pre-order on PS4. If you have an Xbox, you're going to pre-order on Xbox, PC, and so on and so forth. So the fact that they locked some content behind everything, or behind a pre-order to a certain console, which is PS4. So they locked content behind PS4 to be an exclusive for a year, really upset a lot of people. To the point that they went ahead and canceled their pre-orders. A lot of people have canceled their pre-orders.
Yep.
And somebody asked me what I thought about this in my Discord, and I was like, well, okay, so you got to look at it from two standpoints. From PlayStation's perspective, it was really smart. From Activision's perspective, it's really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I have my thoughts on how games should handle certain things, and locking content behind exclusivity and stuff like that. But I want to get your guys' opinions, because I could just rant on.
I'll let you start, Zealous.
All right. So for me, I've played the Call of Duty games for a long time. 03 was when the first one came out. Huge fan. But in the recent times, I have to agree, I'm really not real happy with them locking content. I can understand both sides of the coin, saying, hey, we want more money, we want to bring people to our platform. However, I don't think it's the right thing to do for the consumer base, because if I bought it on 360, or not 360, Xbox One, I expect to be able to play all of the content for a $60 game. Not say, hey, by the way, this entire mode is locked to PS4 exclusive for an entire year when the next Call of Duty comes out. That's not okay.
Yeah.
Right. Omni?
Honestly, the funnier part about this is like, so when I first heard about this, I laughed inside because this is the exact reason why Bungie left them.
Uh-huh.
So with Destiny, they had many times where there were certain weapons, there were certain strikes, there were certain things that were locked until basically the next year. Like if you're on Xbox and play and even PC for the earlier part of Destiny 2, you couldn't play a lot of these strikes that we had on PlayStation, or even these amazing guns that actually changed the meta of the game a little bit.
Right.
Like if you're playing on the PvP side. The main reason why Bungie left is because they didn't want to limit people playing on different consoles. Also, Activision has a complete hatred of cross save and all that stuff, which we're getting with Shadowkeep.
Uh-huh.
So when I saw this, I kind of laughed because I'm just like, yep, that's exactly why Bungie left you guys.
Well, okay, so my thing is, if you're going to make exclusivity in any sort of game, if you're going to lock it behind any console, anything like that, the best way to handle it is just do it for, a little bit. Like, there's no reason to make it so it's going to be locked for a year. That makes absolutely no sense. None whatsoever. So why would they do that? Like, as a company, PlayStation had to have paid them millions upon millions and millions of dollars to have it exclusive for a year.
Mm-hmm.
And again, why I said by PlayStation's standpoint, it was a very smart move for them. But Activision, now they're getting into an issue where all these people are really pissed off. They're canceling their pre-orders. So I don't see how that can be acceptable. Like, listen, Activision's done some really shady stuff. They've done some really, really bad things in a lot of their games. And while Activision is owned by Blizzard, I'm not going to hold Blizzard 100% accountable. Yes, they are accountable for it because Activision's a part of Blizzard, but it being a different division, there's somebody else there who's saying, yes, go ahead and do this. And it really shouldn't happen. Like, this is one of the weirdest situations I've seen in video games for a good while. And like, we're talking like we know what happened with Fallout 76, we know what happened with Anthem, and it seems to be a trend amongst AAA titles.
Yeah.
Where do you draw the line when it comes to stuff like this? Where do you say it's enough? Just go back. Let's go back to a time where we didn't have stuff like this. I don't know what else to say regarding that. I mean, they did apparently address some of the concerns, because some of the other concerns were the microtransactions within the game. They don't want it to be pay to play situation, or pay to win situation, I should say.
Yeah.
And I don't know enough about the shooter genre to know how bad the microtransactions are, but if you guys want to give any sort of examples, be my guest, because I'm not familiar with this genre as much as you guys might be.
Zealous?
Well, for me, I kind of gave up on the franchise after Modern Warfare 2 because of the experience on the consumer side that they were giving. It's gotten to the head where I really think at this point people should stop buying these games. Not only are you putting them on an entire 1-year schedule to put out a game, they're microtransacting the crap out of it, and it's not good for the consumer. And some of the microtransactions do give benefits because you progress through the system faster to unlock achievements and ranks, depending on which game you're playing. So it definitely can affect your online play, much more so than a guy who goes through and grinds it through normal gameplay.
Exactly.
Right.
He hit on it perfectly. And the funny part is, I'm going to just keep bringing it up with how they treated with Bungie and Destiny. Was when Destiny first started, it was a loot shooter, basically, with a lackluster story. Let's be real. Destiny 1 didn't have a story.
Yeah, which is
But
why I didn't like Destiny 1, but that's
yeah,
my problem.
but luckily it's gotten better. It has gone way better. But that's not what I'm getting at. What happened was during the end part of Destiny 1 going into Destiny 2, they brought in microtransactions. Now, luckily enough, Bungie was able to keep them at bay for the most part on their microtransactions. Most of the microtransactions were strictly cosmetic. They helped you get special emotes. They helped you get, special skins for your guns. That's it. There were a few things like what they call fire team medallions, which if you're on a fire team, everyone has a higher chance of experience and stuff like that. But that's just for base level. After that, nothing really makes a difference. So luckily enough, that was the case. But one of the reasons, again, Bungie broke off is because Activision was really trying to push like, hey, let's give people this kind of a boost, or hey, let's try to do, they were trying to force microtransactions on them, hence why Bungie broke off only 5 years into the 10-year plan they had for this game with Activision.
Right. And I guess that should say a lot moving forward as far as Activision goes. I want to read this article really quick that somebody posted up in my Discord. It's called, so the title is Activision reportedly reevaluating Call of Duty Modern Warfare microtransactions after special ops controversy. There's been a lot of news regarding Call of Duty Modern Warfare lately, and not all of it's been good. Well, it was all good until this week. Then Activision announced on Tuesday via Sony's State of Play stream that Special Ops Survival Mode will be exclusive to PS4 for the first year, which is what we talked about not too long ago. After the exclusivity announcement, a rumor popped up which suggested that Modern Warfare's current microtransaction formula will include locking weapons behind random supply drops. Now, I know that I always mispronounce his name, Young Yeah. I don't know if you guys follow him or not. He did a video regarding this. You do, Zelos?
Yeah, I sure do.
Okay, so he put up a video earlier today regarding this, and he made some good points. Like, if you're going to have just cosmetics and stuff like that, do it. Like, nobody has any problems with cosmetics. It doesn't affect gameplay. But if you're going to put weapons in supply drops, that's like, obviously that's going to affect gameplay moving forward. Like, obviously. Because then it's you're paying for it. It's a random microtransaction you're paying for, and it's in a loot box form. So it's not even like you're paying for a specific weapon. It's a microtransaction locked into a loot box, which is even worse in my opinion. So then the article continues, but according to the Gaming Revolution, who is usually reliable when it comes to Call of Duty news, Activision and Infinity Ward recently had a big meeting regarding their current microtransaction formula, as Modern Warfare's pre-order numbers have dropped since the PS4 exclusivity announcement, which makes sense. Like, if you're going to start losing money, people start taking back their pre-orders. You're going to start losing money, you're going to try to make some changes to kind of fix the problem, right? Only makes sense. So
Exactly.
So they're going to try to do what they can to kind of like, I guess, fix the bad PR that they're getting, which they dug their own grave. Let's be honest with that. Activision and Infinity Ward apparently recently held a big meeting regarding my recent post about supply drops, said the Gaming Revolution. The gist of it is that they've lost a ton of pre-orders with the recent news of Survival being delayed by a year on PC and Xbox, and the microtransactions news, and are thinking about giving the players the options to earn them again. Like I've said countless times before, microtransactions are a constant work in progress, but my source wanted to let the community know that they really care. So it looks like they're trying to win people back by fixing the microtransactions problem and not putting the loot box thing, like the supply drops. So that way they kind of win back trust, even though they already screwed everybody over with the exclusivity portion of it. Yeah. Do you guys feel like that's so if they took away the microtransactions and made it cosmetic only, would that be enough, you as a consumer, would that be enough to convince you to then maybe buy the game, give it a chance, knowing full well that there's still that exclusivity portion of it? Even though it's not the main game. Is that enough for you to consider buying it? Just whether or not you play that type of genre. If you were thinking about playing it, would that be enough for you?
Absolutely not. You've made a bad decision. You've been almost anti-consumer in that decision. No, I wouldn't support you at that point. I might pick you up in 2 years in a dump bin, but that's about it. I'm not going to give you $60 for missing content out of a game. I'm just not going to.
Yeah.
Omni?
Agree with them 110%. There's no reason like that. Like just the fact that you tried to do this doesn't excuse what you're gonna do. Like you're gonna do it later. Let's be real. You're gonna find a way to do it later. It breaks the trust.
Yeah, the way I see it is like EA syndrome. So you had Battlefront 2. We're not going to talk about the other ones. We're going to talk about Battlefront 2 just for 1 second because that's the whole thing that kind of sparked the alert for microtransactions in video games because of how bad they were in Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2 nowadays is actually is in a very good place. It's a fun game to play. They got rid of all the loot box crap and they've been pushing out free DLC nonstop since the game got released. And it's actually getting another update pretty soon for the new Star Wars movie. So games can go from a bad position such as this to then be in a good position and players can enjoy the game again. We're seeing that in Fallout 76 where there was a really, really bad launch. The game is a little bit more playable now. Omni, I don't know if you still play it or not, but
Which one?
Fallout 76?
I haven't touched it.
Okay, well, most people are saying that it's in a much better position now than it was when it first launched. And, with that being said, games can come back. But for a game like this that gets replaced every year, there's no reason for them to support it. Like they're just gonna go ahead. They got their money from PlayStation. They got their money from pre-orders, and whoever kind of falls into the mix, then they'll get money from that, and then call it a day. Like Blizzard as a company, they're fine. They're not. They're not in any financial strain. They just launched WoW Classic, made a ton of money with that because they had record-breaking numbers of people coming back to play. Hell, I play WoW Classic now. And so they're making tons of money with that. And games like this, they're just like, whatever. We got our money. We're happy. You guys deal with the rest. That's how I feel it is for something like this. They really don't care. And
yeah.
a lot of big companies like this, again, I feel like they don't care anymore. They just get their money and that's it. They release the next game. Do you think at all that moving forward they would learn their lesson and maybe the next Modern Warfare game or next Call of Duty game will be a little bit better off?
Absolutely not.
No, you think they're gonna stay the same?
Yes, Activision and EA, unless something catastrophic happens in their current business structure, you will not see these changes. You will continue to see them push the envelope, how much money they can squeeze out of the consumer and how much they can be anti-consumer and just drag people along. I mean, from my opinion, they should have stopped making Call of Duty games every year a decade ago almost, because that is very anti-consumer. You support something for, let's say, 8 months, then you're like, hey, we're not going to support this anymore because the next one's coming out in 4 months and we want you to pay another $60. Oh, by the way, none of your progress transfers, none of your DLC that you paid for, none of the cosmetics you bought or any of your hard-earned grinding, nothing transfers. Oh, and by the way, we're removing an entire game mode called Campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that. When did they take out the campaign mode?
That was the last Call of Duty.
That was Black Ops, yeah.
Yeah, see,
Black Ops 4, yeah.
I don't play any of these Call of Duty games, and it's for a reason. Same. Well, not exactly the same reason for sports games, but every year there's a new sports game. Every year there's a new Call of Duty game. Like, there's a fatigue that happens, and that's one of the reasons why they stopped pushing out Assassin's Creed games nonstop, because there was a fatigue. You got to give the consumer a time to kind of just relax on these games. Let them enjoy a game for a couple years. There's tons of content in these games that they could just push out as DLC and keep people happy. If you want to make your money, make it off of DLC. Nobody has a problem with that. I mean, I'm okay with DLC as long as the main game is full of content itself, and then, don't give us a half a game and then release DLC is like, oh, here's the other half. If you give us a full game and then give us DLC, I'm okay with that. I'll buy it. Like, hell, Fallout 4, I bought the DLC for that because the game itself, the initial Fallout 4 game, had tons of content. And then you had the DLC Far Harbor, which had like another 20 plus hours of content in it. So it's like,
oh, it's so good.
yeah. So it's like, okay, well, if you can do that, then and make people happy and keep people happy with that as far as getting extra money, then why not? Like, it's not like you're pushing out extra hardware or, you know, as far as like discs go and stuff like that. You might do a Game of the Year edition or like a complete edition or whatever you want to call it. You might do that, but it's not giving you that much more extra cost as a company, as a manufacturer. So it's just data. So you're just updating the game. You're just installing it into the console. So there's nothing wrong with DLC. And if they want to push it like that, if they want to make their money that way, I don't have a problem with that. You want to put little microtransactions, then I have problems with that.
My big thing is, and you may have heard this terminology, that the AAA space is moving to a live service model for all of them.
I've heard
and
that,
that's
yeah.
the problem.
Yeah.
It's the live service model is the problem. Live service worked okay in MMOs, but they don't work for AAA, $60, especially everything, you know, like sports titles and things that you switch out every single year with very little improvement or change.
Well, so games as a service, I don't have a problem with them if they're done right. So a good example of a game, like you just said, live service model, games as a service, whatever you want to call it, it all means the same thing. A good example of that, besides MMOs, would be like Borderlands. Like Borderlands 2. That game had a lifespan of how many years? When did it first come out? It was on the PS3. And then they did the Handsome Collection. They re-released it on the PS4. And like that game had people playing it for years. If they can do that, why can't Activision do that with a Call of Duty game? You know, like you can have your cake and eat it too. Just do it right, and you'll keep people buying your game. You'll keep them happy, pushing out DLC, and people will get it all day long. You know, skins. People are invested into a game. They have no problem buying skins. You have a gun that you really love and you want a new skin for it. Here you go. Here's a skin pack for a whole bunch of guns. You know, $5.
Yeah.
Like how much time is it really gonna take for them to make a skin pack? You know, and sell it for $5. Zelos, how many skins have you downloaded for a JRPG? You know,
Not a lot, to be honest, because I think they're overpriced. It's sin.
well, I mean, if they were a little bit more fairly priced.
Yeah, if they were like $2 to $3 a piece instead of like $10, $15, $20 sometimes,
Right.
I'm all about that. I don't mind buying cosmetic stuff for relatively inexpensive just to have a particular look.
Especially if you love that game.
Exactly. Like the Tales games, I love those games, but a lot of times those costume packs, unless they're bundled in for like a Game of the Year edition or re-release, they're not worth it. They're like $20 for 4 costumes.
Yeah, I mean that's an issue I have with Bandai. That's because if you look at the previous Tales games, you could get all the costumes in the games without, like back in the PS2 era and earlier, you could get all the costumes. But ever since we got to the whole digital age and Bandai became the greedy company that it is, then we no longer have that. You got to pay for all the costumes in those games. But regardless, so say for example a game like Death End, because you and I both played Death End. They had I think it was a season pass for like $25, and it opened up new areas, or like at a specific date that it would be available because they were still developing or whatever, but there were new areas. They gave you new costumes and different things to enjoy the game. You got a new character. So all of that stuff for $25 gives you hours of gameplay and things to enjoy in the game. For me,
yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say another great example of that was a game I sunk almost 300 hours into, which was Xenoblade Chronicles 2. That was fantastic. You bought the season pass for that, and it was, I think, $25. You got the expansion, and you got all the DLC content that they kept putting out every like month or two. And it was fantastic. It was totally worth. That's the kind of stuff I have no problem shelling out money for that kind of content. I did.
Right. So if they went ahead and took a game like Call of Duty Modern Warfare and put it in that kind of aspect where it's like, okay, here's the main game. We have a campaign mode that everybody wants. Here's the main game with campaign mode, multiplayer mode, everything. And here's the roadmap going down the line. So you buy the season pass, $25, and you will have all of this content. So maybe new maps to play on, new different types of units to use, maybe different types of combat. So all of this will be unlocked on, as we go through our roadmap and stuff like that. Would that then be an okay solution, do you think, for a game like this?
Yes and no. It's a great solution. Roadmaps are a wonderful thing to kind of let you know where things are going, but I have two problems with roadmaps. One, it usually means something launch broken. Two, there's no accountability for those developers to meet that roadmap or not to change that roadmap at any point in time. Look at Anthem. Just look what happened to Anthem.
Yeah, well, I mean, Anthem is a whole nother monster, to be honest with you. Like, that's
a whole nother dumpster fire.
It really is. Like, there was a lot behind the scenes that was wrong with Anthem. Who just opened up?
Really, Omni?
That wasn't me.
That definitely wasn't me.
But it wasn't me.
Really, Zelos?
I accidentally bumped it.
Accidentally. He was like, "Oh, I need my fix. I need my Dokkan fix."
I just log in now. I just log in, keep my thing going.
That's addiction. That is addiction, Omni. I just log in.
Hey,
that's all.
I don't freaking stream it every 2 days anymore.
It doesn't matter. You still got that addiction going. It's still that little bit. It's like, oh, it's just a login. It doesn't hurt anybody. Oh, it's just one summon. It doesn't hurt anybody. Oh, it's just one pack. It doesn't hurt anything. Oh crap! I have no more money.
Hey, I'm doing good right now. All right, doing good. There's nothing wrong with logging in.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Says I just can't. I just can't, because we're gonna get to that topic. All right.
Yeah, so we'll get to mobile here shortly.
So moving on from Modern Warfare, I guess that's a good segue into the Mario Kart and mobile category that we're gonna talk about today. So
see, it was for a good reason.
Yeah. Let me tell you that Dokkan.
Guys, don't whatever you're hearing, don't listen to Gotians. He told me to randomly stir up Dokkan halfway through our conversation.
He's lying.
I have the messages to prove it.
100% lies. Lies. All right. Let's talk Mario Kart Tour, but before we do that, let's kind of paint the picture as far as mobile games and Nintendo with mobile games. Okay, who's played Fire Emblem Heroes? Either of you?
Nope. I have, but not a whole lot.
Okay,
I played a little bit.
I played, tried the summoning, and I got instantly bored with it.
Okay, I was gonna ask how the microtransactions and the Gosh and stuff like that's handled in it, because I've never played it. But we can talk about other ones like Dragalia and Pokemon Masters. So Dragalia is supposed to be a better game now than it was when it initially launched. They give a lot of free summons as far as multis go with the tickets. They have a pity rate system, which they had when they first started. But when it first started, you ran into that problem with the currency like you always do in these mobile games. Pokemon Masters is... God, I cannot get behind that game. I know you were playing it for a bit, Omni. I think you enjoyed it for the most part.
I enjoyed it story-wise. It was actually pretty fun story-wise. The mechanics of the game are fun, but the gotcha part of it is, and Timothy says it perfectly, it's a money grab.
See, I couldn't get behind even the gameplay of it. I thought the gameplay was trash.
They actually, their big issue, now mind you, they have pity rates just like, actually they have something a little bit different. They have not really pity rates. I mean, you can call it a pity rate if you want, but they have it that after you earn summon points, basically.
That's
or
pity
sync
rates.
points.
That's pity rates.
after you fill that up, you can literally choose any unit on the banner to get.
Yeah, that's a pity rate. That's the same thing they
Is it?
do. Yeah, it's the
I was
same
like,
thing they do in Dragalia, but in Dragalia, after you fill up that pity rate meter, then your next summon will automatically be a 4-star, whatever the hell units they use. So they do that, and they're starting to do that in a lot more games, which is not a bad thing. That's a little bit better, but at the same time, it's still a cash grab. So like, okay, let's take another example. FF7 has pity rates when it comes to limited units. So after 120 summons, the 121st summon is the guaranteed that you're going to get the featured character.
you mean like the one time I watched you streamed?
Yeah.
And you were going for that one unit?
Right.
Yeah, that was funny.
What were you asking, Zelos?
Not what I was asking. What I was saying is, I hate that game. Summoning, absolutely hate it. That base system is garbage.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry. 121 summons? Are you kidding?
Yeah, and that's a lot of money. People did the math, and I don't remember what the math was. Like I wouldn't spend money. I would save up my currency to be able to use it on the limited banners only. That's how bad it was. And another game that does it, which honestly they do it better. They have a much better system. Teppen, which is one of the mobile games that I play, that has a pity rate in it as well. But after 30 summons, okay, not 30 multis, 30 summons, so 30 single summons, you're guaranteed to get a legendary card. So it's very, very easy to get to that point, because considering that they give you a ton of summoning tickets, it's very easy to get legendary cards in that point. And then also you can just you can craft and create the legendary cards. So like if there's a legendary card that you're missing, if you have enough souls, you can go ahead and just craft it, and there you go, you have the card that you were missing. So they have a very good system going for them there. And then on top of that, you cannot pull a duplicate of a legendary card until you got all of them. So you will never run into dupes in that game. And if other games started implementing things like that, I think it would be a lot better, because then it's like, okay, well then it doesn't feel as money hungry, because you don't really got to spend anything in that game at all. And that is one of the only mobile games that I would actually recommend to just spend the $5 a month, because that's all you need to do in that game, and then the rest of it you could just get whatever the hell you want for free. So games like Dokkan, Pokemon Masters, and all the others, like it's a massive cash grab that needs to be addressed. So Mario Kart Tour falls in that category of massive cash grabs, in my opinion. I know a lot of people enjoy the game. Have you guys played it yet?
I have.
How did you enjoy it for like what it was? Okay, I'll take that as a no.
So
I don't either.
So
this is
gotcha wise, yes, it's a money grab as all hell, and it's stupid the way they did it. Gameplay wise, it's garbage.
So you don't have anything good to say about it.
No. Like, the idea is there, okay? The idea of a mobile Mario Kart game is there. But they put it's auto acceleration. All you do is steer the car. And the steering in that game is so stupidly sensitive, it makes it almost annoying. Like, I actually had to switch it to the non-drifting version, and I'm a Mario Kart person. Like, I love to be able to drift my corners because I know I can whoop your butt that way.
You and I got to play some Mario Kart one day.
Yes, we do.
But okay, so you didn't like it. Zelos, I didn't catch it if you played it or not.
I did. I played about 30 minutes of it, uninstalled it.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how bad it is. It is, as Omni said, the gameplay. The gameplay is not there. It feels like it's only there to facilitate the $5 a month subscription, which is their gold pass, and then the red coins. That's all it's there to do, is to get you to spend money, and it's really egregious. The monetization that they decided to go with for that game is really bad. If you said, hey, it's $5 a month and you have this, and this, I'm okay with $5 a month for a subscription. However, what I'm not okay with is all the other things with the red coins that they're doing to continue to nickel and dime you. It's
Okay.
really, really bad.
So, from my understanding, there's two different currencies. So you have the red coins and then the gems,
The
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 rubies.
rubies.
What are the differences between the two?
I didn't get that far
Rubies.
into the game to figure it out.
Well, the rubies are used for summoning, and then the red coins are used for doing other additional tracks and bonuses. If I remember right, I didn't get far enough to do that, but it had something to do with additional tracks and the ability to get coins. So the red coins are used, in, I think, like an item shop almost.
Okay, so
I
like if you want to
believe
buy
so.
a new character or cart or something in the item shop, you can use the red coins.
I believe so. Like I said, I didn't get far enough to do that. I did my 3 multis, did 2 different tracks, hated it, and on.
Right. So okay, so the biggest issue I have with these type of games. So we can be critical to mobile games all day long, but the biggest issue that I have specifically with these type of games, Mario Kart and Pokemon Masters, and any game that is that is off of a franchise that's marketed towards children, is the fact that they are marketed towards children. And these games are E-rated for everybody. So you're going to have little children playing Mario Kart Tour. You're going to have little children playing Pokemon Masters, and they're going to want to purchase the items in the game because they're going to want the new characters and stuff like that. And they don't understand addiction. They don't know what it means to be addicted to something. They don't understand how microtransactions work, and they don't grasp the concept of all of it. So because I put out a video earlier today, and one of the points I made in that video was that if my daughter asks me, if she sees that I'm playing Mario Kart Tour on my phone, she's gonna want to play it because she plays Mario Kart on the Switch, and I'm gonna have to tell her no, and she's gonna ask me why she can't play Mario Kart on my phone, and I'm gonna explain to her why she can't. And at the end of the explanation, she's not going to understand. She's just gonna say okay, and that's it. But she's not going to be able to comprehend the reasons why I say no. And that's the biggest issue, because you have games that are marketed towards children. It's not like a game like Modern Warfare where right out the gate it's M for mature. You know, that's the biggest problem. These games are gambling. They have loot boxes. I don't care how you package it, it's all the same when it comes to loot boxes and gambling. And the biggest issue that we get is the fact that we have different governments and stuff like that that are trying to push a ban towards these mobile games, and governments don't seem to care, and that makes it even worse. I mean, you have the whole thing with the in the in the UK that they were talking about or trying to get microtransactions and gacha games banned, but they said, oh, it's not gambling, loot boxes are not gambling, and that's absolutely ridiculous. It blows my mind that people can't correlate the two. What do you guys think on that?
I think it is a lot of back end deals with AAA. To be honest, AAA titles, AAA developers. No one wants to smack the hand that's going to grease the hand at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with him 110%.
And then we have I was gonna say companies, but we have countries like Belgium that straight up banned Mario Kart Tours, same as basically any other gacha game. So there are some countries that will do it, but then as a whole in the world, like, we just kind of accepted that this is the norm. When did that happen? That's what I don't understand. When did it become that it's okay and it's normal for
I want to say it's kind of, people have mentioned it in chat, Clash of Clans, games like those is when people are, I really feel like they're like, people are willing to spend money for either for chances to get stuff or for, trying to get a boost, a leg up on their competition.
But it's even before that. Let's go all the way back to Japan for a second, where this became the biggest thing. I mean, look at Fate Go. as much as I love that game, I will not spend a dime in it because the rates are terrible. But I love the game. But that was $3 billion last year. $3 billion, and most of that came from the Japanese market. You tell me where this stemmed from. It came from there. When people saw how much money they were making, they go, okay, how can I equate this to the West or to other regions of the world? And that's where gotchas really started getting where they are now. And we allow it, and we continue to allow it because no one wants to stop the IPs coming in, which are great because they make a lot of money, but then no one wants to regulate it.
And that's
Exactly.
100% true. And as far as the Japanese market goes, I mean, so you guys know that I play Sword Art Online Integral Factor, and like I'm excited for the new SAO mobile game, but at the same time I'm not, because it's going to be gacha. But you know, you guys know that I play it, but at the same time I'm kind of at a love-hate relationship with it, because I like to play it because the gameplay is good, but I hate it because it's so money hungry. And like when it comes to the community, and I seem to like pull people one way or the other, or they're just like, I don't know, when it comes to community for that specific game, people either agree with me that it's too much, because I like this game will have like 5, 6, 7 banners at one time, and they're all pay banners. Like they're like you summon on them by buying the currency using real money. And you know, a lot of people are okay with it, but at the same time, those games, mostly the Japanese ones, like you said, their targeted is the Japanese market. And if you look at a game like Sword Art Online, for example, monthly that game brings in anywhere between 300 to 500,000 a month. That is a lot of money. But most of that money is coming from the Japanese market, because the Western side of the world, or globally, they don't really spend as much as everybody thinks they might. That's why you have games like Dokkan, whenever they do the celebrations and they have the Japanese versus the global market, the Japanese always wins. There's a reason for it, because they're going to spend all the monies. And I just don't know any other way to kind of fight against it, or to just like, or maybe there's just let it be what it's going to be, and maybe the hype will die down one day. I don't know.
That honestly, that's the only thing we really can do. Like, there's not either that or we become like Belgium. But that's the thing, we're not. Like, so honestly, it's more or less, yeah, we're just gonna let this run its course, because yeah, it's either like you said, it's either gonna die down or something's gonna change.
I'd like to see the market kind of take more of the direction of the Apple Arcade is. I'd rather spend money for a service that hosts complete games that maybe do monthly stuff that you do have to grind, but there's no microtransaction. They're getting their money up front from the subscription fees that they would be getting from this whatever service it may end up being. I think that's a better, healthier model than say what we're doing now, for both the perspective of the consumer and long-term relations with a lot of these developers.
Agreed.
So you as a consumer, you'd be okay with paying a monthly service fee for a complete game?
Correct.
Okay.
For a complete game that continues to offer new content, absolutely.
Okay, so I've brought this up many times in many different videos, that if they were to change these gacha games, if they still wanted to have the gacha aspect of it, but make it so that way the game is a monthly service fee, $5 a month to play the game, and so maybe every day you get to pull one multi on whatever banner, instead of having the currency. So it's just every day when you log in, you get to pull on it. Would that be an okay thing for you?
As an adult, absolutely. I think that would be okay for me. I believe, though, I still wouldn't let younger audiences do that, because that still feeds that gambling addiction. Granted, if there's no additional way to get those other than playing the game, I'm
hold
okay
on.
with it.
Hold on. I don't mean to interrupt you. Mike's here. Mike, do you want to jump in the call? I was trying to message you earlier so that way I can get you in here. Omni, can you invite Mike in here?
I can totally do that.
All right, cool. Do it. All right. Sorry, Zealous. Go
Spell
on.
his name.
Go on.
There we
I'm
go.
sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
There he goes.
Oh no, that's totally fine. But I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Well, we were talking about, okay, so you were saying that you wouldn't want children to be exposed to stuff like that.
Correct, because it feeds that addiction. If they can't get the fix through, let's say, this service that we're proposing, they're going to find it somewhere else, because you've now taught them that behavior. You've taught them what the dopamine rush can be like. Mm-hmm. They're going to go find that somewhere else. I really think that anything with gotchas should not be targeted to anyone under the age of 18. If we do it for liquor for 21, we do it for smoking at 18. This is the same.
Heck, we do it for standard casino gambling.
Yes.
At 21.
Yeah. Well, 18. 21 if they serve liquor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would be okay with having games out there that could be the same subscription service, but don't have these gotcha elements for younger children to play. But if it's gonna have gotcha, it cannot be targeted towards children. End of story. Because it's gonna be bad. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I understand what you're saying in that, and so as if they have gotcha, then it needs to be, in your opinion, 18 and up.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So I've always said that I'm okay paying $5 a month for monthly service because I understand the companies need to make their money. And so a lot of people, they come to me and they're like, well, what if the person can't afford the $5 a month because they're teenagers or they're kids or whatever, and so they can't afford the $5 a month to play whatever game it is. So if it is Dragon Ball or Bleach or Naruto or Sword Art Online, or Mario Kart or any Mario game, whatever, if they can't afford the $5.99 a month, then what would the solution be in that regard? Should they lock content behind the $5 a month thing, or should they reward those players who do pay the $5.99 a month or the $4.99 a month or whatever, the $5 a month? I kept saying $5.99 because somebody's typing $5.99 in there, and I'm reading the chat while I'm doing this. But so in that case, should they reward those players who pay the monthly fee with some sort of VIP treatment? Would that be acceptable? So that way everybody can play it, but those who pay the $5.99, or I keep saying $5.99, those who pay the monthly fee, get VIP treatment. Would that be okay?
I think that if you had a 2-tier system, so basically free, and then I don't want to say pay to play, but that's exactly what it is, to have those benefits ahead of the free to play players, yes. But again, if it's gotcha, you're not going to run into that with children, at least, with not having the ability to get money. College kids, yeah, I can understand that.
Well,
and it would be okay.
Take gotcha out of it. I want to just let's say we're making a game. We're making a brand new game, whatever IP you want to throw, whatever, it doesn't matter. But the core of it is we're trying to make a game that's free to play, but also has a VIP monthly subscription of, say, $5. So where do we draw the line? Because then at that point it's very easy to make it so that way those people who pay the $5 a month now have an advantage. Because then if you start getting into PvP type of gameplay, those players might have an advantage over non-paying players. So how do you make it a level field? How do you reward those players with the VIP treatment versus the ones who are playing completely free to play?
Free t-shirts.
Free to what?
Free t-shirts.
Free t-shirts. You know what? I would be okay with that. But but seriously, in all seriousness though, how do you do that?
That's the downside. I don't think there is a way to do that.
There is, but you can have 0 PvP at all.
But then that's where you get a problem, because then you have those players that do want PvP in those type of games, and that's a problem that we have in SAO Integral Factor, and I hate referencing that, but that's just because that's the most prevalent one that has a problem with no PvP. So a game that clearly would benefit from a PvP model, if you're saying like an MMO style game, but doesn't have PvP, and you're gonna have issues with end game content, as far as I can see it, because a lot of end game content for MMO style games and stuff like that PvP is one of the things that drives the game moving forward.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why for me, it's kind of like I would like there in the perfect world we would have this game that would benefit everybody. Like everybody would be able to play this game. You have a VIP system, and you know you reward them with avatar skins or whatever the hell you want. But like monthly, every time they renew their subscription, oh, here's some new skins for you, like a ton of new skins. You know,
I mean, that's
go on.
I was gonna say that. I mean, you're right. If that's the route, the type of game you want to make, really the only thing you can do if you're gonna do a VIP is cosmetics, or if you have some kind of queuing system for something, or maybe a refresh on stamina like in Dragon Ball. I could see those being benefits. They're not hugely because they're going to focus more typically on the story mode versus the PvP action.
Right.
But I could see something like that possibly working.
Well, I mean, stamina. Since you mentioned that, stamina is one of the things that drives the monetization practices, because you want to refresh your stamina, you use the currency to refresh it, and to get the currency, if you're out of the story currency, then you have to buy it. So that's one of the microtransaction issues. I mean, like you would just not have currency, or not currency. I'm sorry, you just not have stamina, in my opinion, and just allow the players to just play the games.
Yeah.
But
that requires a lot of content, though. So, I mean, I can understand if you want to do it for time gating purpose.
Yeah. Mike, welcome, by the way.
Hey, yeah, no, I'm just catching up on it. So you're expanding on the idea of Zealous's the pay monthly VIP service,
right? Because Mario Kart Tour suffers from a VIP monthly service where they actually lock content behind it. They lock the 200cc races behind it, and they lock what's the other thing they lock behind it? I can't remember.
They locked, I think, a character and some cards behind it.
Yeah, I saw that. That is just flat out money grubbing, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah.
But I don't see why you wouldn't just slowly bring that sort of stuff in. Like, why would you? It seems to me like it's almost it's a siren call. So you hear the siren, you don't go rushing towards it, you know. So you go, nah, I'm not doing that game. No thank. I would think that it would cut out a lot of the audience, and
right.
It doesn't make any sense to me, especially when it's Mario Kart. It's one of the top 5 best-selling games ever. Top 3, I would imagine, right?
Well, I think
Maybe.
on the Switch, it was number 1 for the longest time. I don't remember what finally knocked it down, but it did get knocked down.
Yeah, but
I
it was up there.
Smash knocked it out.
Yeah,
I think it did.
Yeah. By the way, right? It's the fact is that like you basically you've shat on an IP. You've taken it and the company's gone and screwed it up, because the only reason you're having this conversation is because the idea is super offensive.
Yeah. and the thing is, like, Nintendo, this is something that they do. So if you look at Pokemon Masters, which is another one of the reasons why I don't like it, they have a guaranteed banner. So like if you summon on this banner, you are guaranteed to get a 4-star trainer and the Pokemon, but it's locked behind a paywall. So
of course it is.
In order to summon on that said banner, you have to have paid money to the game to then get the paid currency, because they do differentiate between the free currency that they give you and the paid currency. So you have to have the paid currency to then summon on this banner, or you'll never be able to summon on it.
Yeah.
So these are like standard Nintendo practices at this time with their games, and it's just mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, you brought up an interesting point earlier about it, the Japanese market. I mean, come on, they've got gacha machines in subways, so gambling's everywhere. It's like and so it doesn't translate very well outside of Japan.
And it's true. That is very true. And I have, oh my god, you just like triggered a recent argument I had with another YouTuber that I won't mention.
Yeah.
because it
Right,
became like a
okay.
big drama on my channel. Um,
Right.
but this said YouTuber is it's an SAO YouTuber, and
Right.
bigger than me, so he has a bigger following and all that stuff. I don't consider myself an SAO YouTuber. I consider myself a gaming YouTuber, but whatever. So
Yeah.
I got into an argument with him because he's okay with Gacha. I'm not. I'm not okay with Gacha. I try my hardest not to promote Gacha anymore. And so I got into an argument with him because this was about a game that is releasing in China, and he's saying there's like absolutely no chance that this game is getting released globally. And I was like, well, if you think about it, if there's enough demand, then they could do it. Like, take a look at Xenoblade Chronicles that was on the Nintendo Wii. That game was not going to come out globally, but there was a massive demand for it that Nintendo was like, we're stupid if we don't release this game. So they did. They released it because there was a massive demand for it. So if there is a massive demand for games, they're going to release it. Can we agree on that?
Oh, agreed.
Oh, absolutely. And it's not the first time that's happened either.
Right. So
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the reason why Fate Grand Order finally got an English release eventually.
right. So as long as there's a demand, there will be the supply for it. So we got into that argument, and I said, well, if that happens, then I could see this current SAO game effectively shutting down. And he was like, no, that's not going to happen. He started like saying like I was a calamity howler and like saying a whole bunch of different things. And I was trying to get him to understand something. He's like, oh, I work with companies. I know how companies work. And I'm like, I work with companies too. I know how they work too. And if there's a demand for something, they're going to follow through with that demand because they're going to be missing out if they don't. And Bandai, for example, since I'm talking about them as an example, so Bandai, for example, is not one to close down servers. They will close down games, straight up close down a game in a region if it's not profitable for them. They've done that with Tales of Rays. They did that recently with Digimon Links. In SAO Integral Factor, they closed down 2 servers because they were not making money. Instead, they closed down the servers, reduced their costs, and took all those players who were in those servers and migrated them into the current, like the other servers that were open that had a larger player base. So if something's not profitable, they will shut it down. If there's a demand, they will bring it. So like how can you turn a blind eye to something like that, knowing that these Gacha games, all of them, they could be shut down at any time, and all the money you put into them could be gone. Like you have no guarantee. Like, you get so excited. We've all played Dokkan. We've all played Gachas. We all get so excited by playing and getting the newest character or whatever.
Pulling an LR, so on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera.
Because as Zealous mentioned, it's that dopamine effect. They play all the flashy lights and they make all the sounds and all that stuff. We all get super excited. Oh my God, we just got the character. But at the end of the day, it's just digital stuff that can be taken away really quick. I don't know what the point I was making with this. I just went on a tangent. Nobody stopped me. So
I let you do your thing.
Yeah, it was a good tangent, and I do get why you went on that tangent. I had to catch up quickly halfway through that sentence, though, through the many paragraphs.
Well, and I think a lot of my disdain and dislike for it is just one, like being a content creator and playing these games for so long and realizing what they are. I think just has a lot to do with it. If I wasn't doing content on it, I'd probably still be playing Dokkan.
Yeah. It's the fast food factor. That's what it is, man. Like, you spend money on a burger, you eat the burger, you're happy for that moment, and nothing else matters at that time, until later on you realize that you're just lonely in the toilet with diarrhea. And that's basically what the real reward is from a gacha game. It really is. You're just alone, just taking a poop, and the fact that Mario Kart is willing to go and do the gacha game format within the under the veil of a, because it's under a veil, we know it is, under a veil of a subscription system is, well, it's pretty abhorrent. And I heard you talking about your child earlier, and that's a big concern.
It is. I mean, like okay, so I think out of the four of us, Mike, you have a kid, don't you?
I've got two 14-year-olds. They're not twins, just two different mothers. Yeah. Long story. Anyways.
Well, no, I mean, regardless, I mean, you're a parent, so you understand.
Yep.
I mean, so as a parent, we know that these games are, even though they're marketed towards children, they're not for children. At the end of the day,
exactly.
That's what it is. Mario Kart is or just Mario in general, is like, if a kid sees Mario, they know this is Mario. I play Mario games. I want to play this game. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, it's the fact is that Nintendo gave us so much for so long for basically free, and then changed their marketing and profit-making model because they had to. There wouldn't be a Nintendo around if they hadn't, right? Today, still wouldn't be there.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be here. And no matter what anybody says, it's because of Gacha games. It's because of the monetization they put into things.
Well, yeah. I mean, they made a ton of money with, what was it, Super Mario Run or whatever it was.
Yeah. But it craps all over. It craps all over IP that we used to love and adore.
Right.
You know, like, it's hard to say now, hey, Mario Kart on mobile. You see, you end up like internally just fighting with yourself because you used to play it when it was a couch game. You know,
yeah.
Not so much that.
And like I've said before, if I'm gonna play Mario Kart, I'm gonna play it on my Switch. End of story on that one.
Yeah.
It's I don't think any of us can knowingly defend Mario Kart's practices or Nintendo's practices when it comes to mobile games, because when it comes to the console games, they make fantastic games. I have little to no problems with most of their games. Granted, not all their games are for me. Like Pokemon Sword and Shield, I'm not going to be getting.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I'm a Pokemon fan. I'm not going to get Pokemon Sword and Shield. Because there's a lot of things that I don't like about it. And again, I know it's not for me anymore. Like, I grew out of Pokemon, or maybe Pokemon grew out of me. I mean, that's what happens with video games. I mean, we love certain franchises for so long, but then they evolve away from us, or we evolve away from them, and then we just don't see any interest in them anymore. But games like this, games like Mario Kart, games like just any racing game. Look at Crash Team Racing. That game made a ton of money. People love that game. So
bucks. Yeah.
So games like that, I mean, they're going to sell well all day long, and Mario Kart Tour is going to make a ton of money, which kind of sucks because that's the age that we live in. And freaking Pokemon Masters made $26 million in the first week. I'm scared to know how much money Mario Kart Tour is going to make.
Yeah.
You know, it's
this isn't just grumpy old man talk either, right?
No,
this isn't just us being grumpy old men. This is bullshit.
Like I said earlier when we first started on the topic, I played Mario Kart Tour for like, I want to say I probably logged about a total of 2 hours into it just to try to see if it got better later on. The controls are
demonetized.
Can I swear?
Demonetized.
All right,
don't do that.
All right, I'll keep it in mind. Okay. The controls are trash. The gameplay is trash. The gacha system is trash, and their subscription system is trash.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think we pretty much we're beating a dead horse now with Mario Kart and gacha. So let's move on to another topic. And I kind of want to backtrack just a little bit because Mike's here. So I want you to actually talk about your opinions on Modern Warfare.
Since you just got done doing your fun in another
which before you start talking about Modern Warfare, I want to just congratulate you on a successful stream. That stream was fantastic. You didn't have a ton of people in there, but you had what was more important, which was steady viewers.
Oh, dude, yeah, I was so happy with that.
How long did you stream for? Because I saw you stream
8 hours, 8 hours and 2 minutes.
Okay, before I fell asleep. So I fell asleep twice during the stream. Nothing against you. Just I was exhausted because I was up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning playing my game, and So
Not my fault.
why would that be your fault?
Oh, was this the second time you stayed up till 4 in the morning?
Yeah, no. I mean, look, I'm trying to catch up on the series Trails of Cold Steel, okay? Because I I gotta play part 3. So, anyways,
Yeah, you
I
gotta
just
you catch up.
yeah, I just want to say congrats because that was, in all accounts, a very very successful stream. You had like
Yeah.
an average of 20 to 25 people throughout the entire stream. The entire stream, like 8 hours with that many people, is fantastic. And on top of that, they were interacting, which was even better.
Yeah. I had an average of about 15 minutes watch time, so I was really stoked with that.
Yeah.
Which means that a lot of people just stuck around for the entire stream. At least 3 people did. I know that. So,
Well, I mean,
like, hey, I'm gonna stick around.
The other thing that's kind of finicky with YouTube is like if you have it muted or whatever, if it's not on your main screen, so apparently YouTube knows, and so they don't count those times. So if I have the
They're doing the same thing as Twitch.
Yeah. So if I have the stream muted, it doesn't count as like I'm watching, or
Okay.
or if I'm on another page on my browser, it's not counting as me watching. Although if I have the audio, I think it still does count. So it's kind of weird. So like I'll leave it open and I'll have the volume on, and like if I gotta like step out of the room or whatever. But yeah, I mean that was a great.
Put
stream.
it all at 1%. That's what I say. Put it all at 1%.
Yeah. So that was a great stream, and like I was super happy to see that in your stream, dude. And I hope that you continue going on with that content on your channel. That
game, Ghost Recon Wildlands. I did sort of 50 odd streams on that, and so I'm glad to have this Ghost Recon again. And so there's hours upon hours of Ghost.
Yeah,
on my
and I
channel
mean,
already. So
even
I wanted that game to be my main game, but it wasn't good enough.
Even if the hype does die down, like you know what your demographic is for your channel, which is shooters, mostly shooters and fighters. I mean, you get a lot of
shooters
people
and
watching.
Fighters, bro.
Yeah, you get a lot of people watching your fighting videos, like all the videos that you've done for past fighters. People watch those, but people seem to stick around for your shooter streams. So knowing that, I mean, like I hope that you continue that trend. You enjoy those games anyways. So like when Watch Dog Legion comes out or whatever, like I'm hoping that you're playing those games too.
Yeah, definitely.
That was great. Anyways, give us your thoughts on the whole Modern Warfare issue. I'm gonna use the bathroom while you do that. So
Modern Warfare issue. What have we covered so far, guys?
Well, we basically gave all our thoughts and opinions on it. Like as far as the PS4 exclusivity, the microtransactions and stuff like that. Omni, if there's anything else I missed, go ahead.
And the the usual, oh my god, this is too violent.
Well, I mean, have you guys played it?
No, I missed the beta.
Okay, so it's pretty much an upgraded version of any Call of Duty Modern Warfare anyway. It's Call of Duty on the boots, boots on the ground gaming is what it is. So and the exclusivity thing, I understand why they're doing it. It's for tournaments. And the exclusive deal that they have with PlayStation means that those tournaments can be monetized for a full year before heading out into the wild, as it were. So before it goes to the PC players and the Xbox players. But the important part here is the PC players, because that's going to up the game again. But if they don't establish Call of Duty as an esports viable game, they've essentially killed off quite a lot of the COD tournaments out there. So this is their next baby that they're trying to support, and being able to do that alongside Sony helps that game establish itself solidly within the range. It's a hell of a deal that they wrote up, though, like, because Sony also backs Injustice too. It backs Mortal Kombat. So they have a whole lot of other tournaments out there that they back as well. But the deal that they struck with Call of Duty is weird. But but at the same time, I get it. What else did we cover with that?
But the other thing on the exclusivity part is the fact like originally the survival mode was going to be PlayStation only.
Yep.
For a year, and by that point, the next Call of Duty would be out.
Yeah. See,
that's what the outrage is more or less about.
Yeah, Modern Warfare is not about worrying about the next Call of Duty game, though. It's not. Yeah. This is an esports game. We have to understand that Call of Duty was built on esports for a few years, like coming on a decade easily, right? So they have a model out there that's built for esports. This game is built for that. Survival, exclusivity on PlayStation, yeah, whatever that was supposed to be. Is something where Sony has made their decision, Activision made their decision, and they thought that it was best to do just nothing but that for their first year.
Yeah, which is something that I mentioned too. Is like, so this whole deal was great for Sony, and Activision got a lot of money from it, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's really that good for them. Like, they kind of a little bit shot themselves in the foot because a lot of people have canceled the pre-orders. And like you said, it's an esports thing. Like, I get that, but at the same time, not everybody's competing in esports.
No, they're not. But the non-endemic sponsorship deals that are out there at the moment, non-endemic meaning not of the industry, deals out there that are rolling in are also calling the shots. So, for example, I don't really want to name companies, but I will.
Don't, because I mean, we all have NDAs and stuff that we have. So, whatever you're not allowed to say, don't say it.
Oh no, it's not so much that. It was like Red Bull, for example, jumping in on tournaments. Now, originally they have this weird thing, Red Bull, and they've been doing it for years with sports as well. The extreme sports stuff that they're involved with. They'll see a tournament taking off, so they'll chuck money at it. But while they're chucking money at it, they'll give their opinion, and slowly but surely, they'll take over managing that particular tournament. It's been a business practice they've been doing for years. So, and Red Bull isn't strictly gaming, is it? No, but it's gaming adjacent. But then we've got other companies that are coming in that have historically had nothing to do with gaming.
Well, but that's basically the same thing as sports. So you have your sports teams and stuff like that, and you have the companies that sponsor the said sports teams, and basically they build the stadiums for them. And I mean, it's the same thing for sports versus esports. So
now you're getting what I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay, so let's see what we see. So a rugby game right here in New Zealand goes on at a stadium, and let's say that rugby game pulls in 500,000 through the gate, right? That's about average. 500,000 through the gate for a game, and then all the concessions they'll make say 300,000 out of the day. Let's say that because they would make 300,000 out of the day easily. So for your drinks, your food, and all the rest of it, all that money has to go back and pay people directly. So you have security staff say 280, you've got catering staff say 150, blah blah blah. It stacks up. Eventually, that money's gone. So the money has to come from somewhere, and that money comes from television, and it comes from the big sponsorship that's all over the field. That's where that comes from. It comes from the signage everywhere. That's if a beer company says, hey, we want ours up, cover that beer up, they'll do it, right? So even if the stadium is usually sponsored by that beer company or sponsored by that soft drink, whatever it is, they'll cover it up. Because to put printing on the field itself, it's a $50,000 deal per print, right? And so all of that stuff stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. the money doesn't come from the gamers anymore. It doesn't.
Right.
It comes from
the
this. It
sponsorship
comes from that
deals.
sponsorship and that coverage and those people watching it.
Right.
They don't care about the game being bought so much as they want the game to be played well. They want a spectacle. That's the way I see it. They want superstars to be playing this game, and they want them to be getting all of the deals that they could possibly get. That's where it monetizes. They don't care about your $60. They don't care about your canceling orders. What they do care about is 5 teams at the top there looking like superstars pulling up in Ferraris. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing. That's what they want. They want superstars.
But then here's the other thing. I guess the counter argument to that would be we live in an age where social media is a huge deal. So now if you're facing bad press and bad PR, that's going to affect your audience retention for that said esports match.
Yeah, it's an interesting audience these days. In theory. Well, the cancel culture is the thing. Like, that's a real thing. But at the same time, any publicity is good publicity.
See, these days I don't know if you can really say that.
There's 20,000 people turning up to watch. If there's 20,000 people turning up to watch, you can bet your ass that at least 5,000 of those loud bastards are going to give their opinions on what they think for 10 minutes. But you know what? They'll stick around. They'll troll. There's money in trolls.
Yep, that's true. It's still a view. It's still a body. It's still a count. It's still a number.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if they really wanted to troll, they wouldn't turn up.
Yeah.
But
all right. Well, I mean you know what? That's a good take on it, though. That's a very good take on it. That's why I wanted to have different perspectives in here, because it's what you know as far as these type of games and the genre. Omni knows what he knows, and this type of genre is typically out of my area. Like the type of games that I play would be horror and RPGs. I mean, most of them are single player experiences, and my RPGs can span into MMOs and stuff like that, but that's my general area of expertise. And so, like I said, I mean, I was trying to get you in here earlier. You probably asleep. I get that, because you had a long stream. You had to recover.
Yeah, I was
not long enough. It could have been longer.
Dude, 8.5 hours is a long time.
So Solitaire 24-hour stream when?
I've done 21. I don't want to do 24. That's for damn sure.
I would never recommend. I've done 24 hours. I would never recommend anybody do 24 hours.
Yeah.
It's really a toll on your body. You feel like death.
Yeah, and I just don't think I have enough chapstick for that. So,
it's also not really good for you to sit that long either, because you get blood clot.
You don't sit through the whole thing. Like, if you're doing a 24-hour stream, you're getting up, you're moving around, like you're taking breaks, like to go to the bathroom and all that stuff.
You go make yourself a sandwich. You can even go to the corner store. No one will care. Just take the phone with you and stream.
Oh, I've done that. I did that though. Like on my 24-hour stream, I had to go pick up my kids from school, so I left the stream running and I went to go pick up my kids. I've done that. It's fine. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They'll sit there chatting. They won't care. But anyways, let's move on to the next topic, which is the Switch Lite, because there's a lot of news and discussion on this whole thing.
Ooh, detail. I gotta look at some of that.
I didn't buy the Switch Lite. I don't plan to buy the Switch Lite. I know people who have bought it. What's that?
Cutie and gimmicky, isn't it? Cutie and gimmicky, isn't it?
No, it's a fantastic idea, because the Switch, as it is, I mean, yes, you can play the Switch on docked mode to play on your TV, or you can play it handheld mode. But as someone who owns a Switch, handheld mode on the regular Nintendo Switch is not that comfortable. It's you can feel the weight of it after so long, and the ergonomics on your hands just doesn't feel right. So with that being said, the Switch Lite, in all aspects of the word light, does feel better in handheld, like using it as a handheld, because you can't use it in dock mode. So, which is weird. I don't know why they took that off. They could have left it to be able to use in dock mode, but that's whatever. That's besides the point. But it's a lighter weight Switch because it's all one unit, and the design, the ergonomics on it feels a little bit better because it's made for handheld. It does feel sturdy because it is one unit, So like for example, if I was gonna drop my 3DS on the floor, I'm okay dropping it because I know that nothing's gonna happen to it. It might get a little ding, but it's still gonna work. But if I drop my Switch, like my normal Nintendo Switch, if I drop that, oh man, if it falls on the Joy-Cons, that thing's popping right off and probably break the rail with it. So the Switch Lite, it does have a better design in the whole of it, but there's problems with it regarding the Joy-Cons that some people are starting to have Joy-Con drift, and they've only had the Switch Lite out for a week or so now. So that's why we're going to talk about it, because I want to get your guys' opinions on this, and because I know how I feel about it. So I want to know how you guys feel about this whole thing. Zelos, let's start with you though.
Well, my biggest thing is we knew this was coming. I mean, the rumors were coming over a year ago for the Lite, and there's also some rumors about some other stuff coming down the pipeline as well. But when it comes to the Joy-Con drift specifically, that's unacceptable. To release a product that's been out a week and to already have failure in the Joy-Cons that are built in and non-replaceable, at least by the average consumer, that you can't do that. You can't release a $200 product and say, oh yeah, the controllers, you might get a week out of them.
Yeah, and let's be realistic. I mean, there's millions of units sold, and the people having problems with the Switch is probably in the maybe high hundreds, maybe low thousand range. So it's not that much, but the fact that it's happening is a big concern. And if nobody's aware, there's a class action lawsuit in America regarding the Nintendo Switch and the Joy-Cons. And
just reading up there. Holy crap.
yeah, it's a big problem because again, the Switch got released in 2017 and we've been having Joy-Con drift issues with it since the release. And I didn't buy my Switch until last year when Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee got released. And I don't have Joy-Con drift issues, but that's because I don't really use my Joy-Cons. So I bought extra controllers and I try to use my controllers as much as possible because I don't want to have the Joy-Con drift issue. But when it comes to the Switch Lite, you can't do something like that. Even if you do have Joy-Con drift issue, it's not like the regular Switch where you can go ahead and take the Joy-Cons off and send them out to get repaired. It's the whole console. So that's where we have the concerns, and that's why they added it to the class action lawsuit. Now, I did make a joke in my video I put out, I think was today, where I was like, well, after 20 hours, how hard were you moving the joysticks? And somebody got pissed off at me, and I was like, it was a joke of a comment. Like, let's be honest, if you're playing Smash Brothers, you're playing Mario Party, you're using the joysticks really, really hard. Like, you're gonna be putting them to the test. So after 20 hours, there is no way that it should be having problems like this. I talk to me, guys. You guys tell me.
The flimsy though, right?
They are, and that's the biggest issue I have with it. If you have a external controller, if you have like a wireless controller or even a wired controller, and you mess with the joysticks on those, the joysticks on those are fantastically made. Like you feel the feedback from them. They don't feel flimsy or anything like that. The joysticks on the Joy-Cons feel cheap. They feel very cheap. And that probably has a lot to do with it. And Spawnwave Media, I don't know if you guys follow him or not.
Yeah.
Or if you know the story. Spawnwave Media did a breakdown of the Switch or the Switch Lite. Like, he took it apart to take a look at the Joy-Cons, and he found that the Joy-Cons were the same exact design as the original Joy-Cons on the Switch. So he theorized that because it's the same design, it will eventually have the same problems. People they reacted to it. Some people were like, oh damn, I'm glad I didn't buy a Switch. Other people were like, oh no, they've updated because it's a different part model or part number. I mean, you can have different part numbers all day, but they can be the exact same product.
Yeah, all you could have changed is where you're manufacturing it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Omni, you have a Switch, right?
I do have a Switch, yes.
How do you feel about the Joy-Cons on your Switch?
I actually rarely use them.
So you're like me. You use an external controller?
Yep, I use an external controller.
Okay, but when you do use them, how do they feel? Does it feel better to use a regular controller, or does it feel better to use the Joy-Cons?
Oh, I love using the regular controller. My hands I have big hands because I'm a tall individual. My Joy-Cons are not built for my hands.
That's fair, but I mean, like, as far as like the material and like how the controller or the joysticks feel on them.
The joysticks feel a lot more solid. Like I actually feel like I got more resistance out of the controller than I do the Joy-Cons themselves.
Okay, and Mike, I know that you don't have a Switch.
Yeah, no, I never felt the hype for the Switch.
Yeah,
but,
Zealous, you do have a Switch.
I've used them.
You've used them. Okay, so how does it feel using the Joy-Cons versus like a regular controller? Like even if it's not the same controller, say like a PS4 controller or something.
Yeah, come on. They feel like the clicky bits on big pens. That's
Okay.
about as yeah.
So they feel cheaply made.
Yeah, they feel cheaply made.
Yeah. So what
but I don't think they could do it. I don't think they could do 50,000 clicks like a big pen could. You know, I just don't feel.
Well, so I made an example where if you look back at Nintendo's manufacturing line, you look at all the products that they've done, going back to the original NES all the way up. I still have my original NES from 1987. Still works. Never had a problem with it. Yeah, I would have to blow into the cartridge every now and then, but who doesn't? The SNES works fine. I mean, the N64, I still have my original. Works great. I can hook up component cables or whatever and play it. Works great. The GameCube, fantastic. And some people know this, some people don't. The GameCube, you could actually take a full-size adult and stand on top of the GameCube and it won't break. Because the way that they design it to withstand certain weights and impacts and stuff like that, that's one of the things that Nintendo has always been really, really good on. The way that they treat their handhelds as far as design goes, they want to make sure that the handhelds will last or will still be functional if they're dropped from a full-size adult's chest length. So like if you're standing up and you're holding your 3DS or whatever, you drop it on the floor and you pick it back up, it's still going to be working, nothing's wrong with it. So that's how they stress test their systems. They want to make sure that their systems can last. With that being said, you have the controllers. Now the controllers on Nintendo might be a little bit different because I know on my N64 controller from playing Mario Party and like all those games, like I played Mario Party so much, I made blisters on the palm of my hand. That joystick on the N64 would start to go faulty and you would have the drift on it. So that's something that goes back all the way to the N64. So knowing that, and they have changed the design throughout the years, why can't they just get a design that was really good from, let's say, the GameCube era, because the GameCube controllers were really good? Why couldn't they get that design and use it? Or hell, even the nunchuck on the Wii, that had a good joystick on it. So I don't understand why they can't improve on a model like that. I
think.
Go ahead.
Well, so you're right. It shouldn't persist when we had very solid controllers. Let's take a PS2 controller, for instance. How long did it take to get drift on a PS2 controller?
I've never had
years.
Yeah, if you didn't throw it across the room.
Yeah, I have my original PS2 controller. Never had any drift on it.
Yeah, so, but think about how heavy and how big that controller is.
Right.
Now look at it started with the nunchuck and moved down to the Wii U, and then we moved into the Switch. They're going for form factor, and when you sacrifice durability in those parts because they're so tiny that you don't have the positive feedback you have, like say on the Pro controller, which feels fantastic with those Joy-Cons, and the fact that they're small, just gaskets and a little piece of plastic. That's all you got. And those things do not stay center very long because, like you're playing Mario Party, like you're playing Smash Brothers, like you're playing something that you're going to be aggressively going after those buttons or those joysticks, they're going to wear out incredibly fast. And I don't think they could have done anything different other than make the controller grips bigger.
Yeah,
Size matters. Yeah.
it does. And again, that also goes, like you just said, form factor. Because if they decided to make the Joy-Cons more ergonomic to hold better, then they would have that extra space to make it a more solid joystick.
So their solution was to have the extra third party controls, like the not third party, but the extra controls.
Well, I mean, a lot of them are third
Right.
party. They're made by Power A. A lot of the
Yeah, okay.
controllers, which honestly,
Yeah.
the Power A controllers to me, they're fantastic. I mean, I don't have any issues with them.
Sponsor
that's
Gotians games. Power
Not sponsored.
I mean, that's
reached out
what
to
I
them.
got on mine.
You got Power A, right? And
Yep.
essentially, the Power A controllers, they're Xbox controllers.
Yeah, they really are.
My cousin actually pointed that out to me. She I brought my Switch over when we were in Tennessee, and she saw me using it. She's like, "That's a Power A controller, isn't it?" I'm like, "How'd you know?" She's like, "Cause that's an Xbox controller." I'm like, "Ah, I don't own an Xbox, so I wouldn't have put that together." But yeah, so I mean, like, if they can do that, I mean, again, it would take away from using the Joy-Cons like sideways if they change the design of it to make it more ergonomic. But that's one solution to kind of address as far as like the Joy-Cons. But I don't know, like you said, it's form factor. You don't have a lot of room in there.
The form factor was informed by what? What was their thing? Was it
Lightweight.
because they wanted people lightweight? They wanted people to game on the subway for an hour each day or whatever.
Yeah, like
if they felt like it.
you
Right?
could take
it wasn't built for 20 hours worth of gaming.
Right, you could take it wherever you want, and basically each Joy-Con can be used as an individual controller. So you can, essentially you have two controllers when you buy the system. So that's where it all came from, was to be able to use it in different in multiple applications. And
yeah,
I see that, but then I see the downsides to it, especially these days because of the whole issues. But why does that then have to translate to the Switch Lite? Like, you already know that you have that problem, right? And a lot of people gave me crap for the first video I put out, saying, because I've done 3 videos on this already, and they actually I'm plugging myself because it's my own channel, but they the prior 2 videos did actually decently well, but people got upset. Like, that was probably my most disliked video, and people got upset saying that oh, watch, he tells us not to buy it, but he's gonna buy it day one. I have not bought a Switch Lite because I refuse to. Until they address the problems, I refuse to buy it. And I warned people in that video, wait at least 4 to 6 months to see if it has these problems. That'll give it enough time for people who do have the problems to then come forward saying, hey, my Switch Lite is drifting. I have these issues. Fix these issues. Address them. And
well, I can tell you why they didn't see it coming.
Why?
So there's no way they designed the Nintendo Switch and the Nintendo Switch Lite independently. They would have been side by side. They would have gone, okay, cool. Well, we need the premium edition, and then we need the secondary edition.
Oh, absolutely. There was already leaks of that coming out less than a year after the Switch.
Yeah. So it was already in the design process. So by the time they figured out that there was en masse problems with the, because once you can have the beast in your hand, you can do all the testing and drop it from your chest height, whatever it is, whatever the testing you can do. But until you put it out into the wild, you don't know the true problems.
Right.
And so by the time that came around, they're like, well, we've already produced all of these light versions of it.
Right.
Let's see what happens with those.
And again, that's why I say, always wait 4 to 6 months, because then you can have those problems, and then you don't have to worry about those problems because other people already had. And then that gives it time. So the Switch Lite came out this month, September. So if you wait 4 months, you're looking at around December time, like holiday season. Yeah. So then you've had enough time, whereas, okay, all these people have had the problems. Oh, Nintendo addressed the problem. Okay, now I can go buy it for the holiday season.
Yeah, but, the next model up, how quick are they going to release that? Like, as you said before, right? You said there's a few million units out there.
That's true.
They want to sell those first, but at the same
unless
time,
they do a recall,
pull those. Yeah, well, a massive recall.
Right. which they can do. I mean, that's not something that's out of the ordinary, especially these days when they half-ass everything.
I mean, here's my thought is you talked about Spawnwave earlier. He disassembled, and there are several videos where people have done repairs and stuff. They've made these parts internally modular, so like you can actually expand the amount of internal memory really easy on those switches. And that's going to be the next thing that they're going to go, oh, here's the new one, it's going to have a faster processor. Oh, we've already done this, and it's going to have the exact same board with a different processor on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's been leaks of the quote-unquote pro Switch that people keep referring to. But my concern with that, again, is going to be the Joy-Cons, because that is the biggest concern, because they're expensive, man.
Oh yeah, they are. They're like what, $75?
Yeah.
Holy crap!
Yeah, $75 or $70. I think they're $70 for a pair of them. So I mean, you're gonna spend
$74.99.
$74.99. Okay, so yeah, you're gonna spend $75 every time that they go bad. So like your left one goes bad, you're stuck with the right one, but you want to have a pair of them. I mean, the option then is to buy a used one at GameStop, and it's like,
yeah, which is still $35.
Yeah. Oh, look, somebody in the chat canceled their Modern Warfare pre-order. Yeah, so so you buy the single used one. It's not going to be a matching one unless you can find a matching one. So if you have like the limited edition Switch like I do and one goes bad, I'm not going to find a matching one.
Yeah.
And if I do, it's going to cost me more money. And then it's like, well, do I spend the money for a pre-owned one that will probably have the same problem down the road, or do I just shell out for a brand new pair while I send these out to Nintendo to be fixed? And the one good thing about this whole situation is that Nintendo, for the regular Switch, is offering free repairs in America. So if you have a problem with your Joy-Cons, then you send it to them, they fix it and send it back to you. So that's the one good thing, but they still haven't addressed the permanent fix. It's all bandages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where it's, for me, I can't, knowing what I know, I can't go and buy a Switch Lite. I just can't do it.
So is there any connectivity with a Switch Lite? Is there any sort of Bluetooth stuff that they can connect to?
Well, you can use other controllers, but the problem with the Switch Lite is that there's no dock mode, so you can't put it up on your TV. So it's just handheld. You can put it up on a stand, and you can play with a controller, and you can have somebody playing on the controller with you, so you can link up multiple controllers and play. But it's just a tiny little screen, Like if you got like bad vision or something like that, you're gonna have a hard time playing on that little screen. Like imagine playing Mario Kart 4 people on that tiny little screen. That's not gonna be fun. That's why I don't understand. They could have made dock mode for this. How much hardware was there involved to make it dock mode? It can't be that much
circuitry.
Yeah, it can't be that much of a difference. I mean, it uses the same damn port. It's a C type USB cable. That's all it is.
Power supply. Yeah.
Yeah, so it uses power supply, and it's screen mirroring onto your TV. So they could have kept that and still kept it a Switch Lite. And that way, if you wanted, you buy a dock, and then you go ahead and put it in the dock, and that's it. Now, obviously, it's probably not going to fit in the dock properly, so maybe make a smaller dock. Hell, there's modded docks out there. People have modded the docks to make them smaller.
Somewhere in there. There's money to be made somewhere on it. They could have... but are these the solutions that they will come up with? They must already have a solution process in place where they can.
I don't know. It's been 2 years.
Well, I mean, for the Switch Lite, because they're piling on top of it again, because you said they're adding into the court case. They've got to come back.
I mean, the solution would be sending your Switch Lite, and then you're not going to have it for 2-3 weeks. Because it's the whole system that they got to go ahead and fix. It's not just the Joy-Con that you can send in. Or, before, like with the regular Switch, if your Joy-Cons go bad, you send them in, you go ahead and you can buy used from GameStop for 30 days while yours get repaired and just return them.
It's almost like what Salah said earlier about subscription service. Just stick all these games on the cell phone networks and just pay Nintendo a monthly fee so you can play their games. that you would otherwise play on the Switch.
I
But
don't,
this time, it's going to be at 2K rather than 900p.
I don't know about that.
I don't know, man. They could easily translate things in because
I mean, they could, because you can connect your mobile device to PlayStation 4 now,
yeah, exactly.
and
So
then they're
I
doing
just- I don't know.
Google Stadia connectivity with mobile phones too. So yeah, they could these
Yeah.
days.
Yeah. So I mean, there's other ways out there that I don't know. Nintendo is a console maker, though, right? That's with some really good IP. That's
Pretty
what they
much, yeah. Like, okay, so Nintendo has always been big with their consoles. We know that, with the exception of the Wii U, that was just trash. Um, well, no, for real though. Like, as much of a joke as it is, like, I'm being dead serious.
do.
You know,
it was trash. Yeah.
people did not like the Wii U. Like, the Wii was fantastic. It was innovative. It was absolutely fantastic. You had the motion controls, which didn't work great. They were, let's be honest, they're not what they are now, but they worked for what the time was. You know, it was good. It was innovative. And then you had PlayStation and Xbox try to mimic them with the PlayStation Move and the Xbox Connect. So that was the big thing back then. And the Wii sold fantastic. Like, the numbers were fantastic. But then you had the Wii U, which was just meh. And now the Switch is outselling every other console right now. Obviously, you know, not lifetime, because PlayStation's been out for how many years now, and the Switch came out 2 years ago. But
Yeah.
over these past 2 years, they've outsold PlayStation and Xbox. So you're right, they are hardware, and they have fantastic IPs, which everybody, like, you release a new Mario game, people are gonna buy it. You release a new Zelda game, people are gonna buy it. You know, I'm still waiting on a Metroid game, but at the end of the day, that's what they are, and you're absolutely right on that. It's not like other companies that they rely on other things, because, like, you have Sony, that they have Sony Pictures, they have Sony Music, they have, you know, the video game division, so they're a bigger as a whole company. Same thing Microsoft. You have Windows. I mean, like, so there's a lot that the other companies have going for it that they can take a little bit of a hit because they're making money elsewhere. You know, where Nintendo is Nintendo. What they have is what they have.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it even worse, is that this is what they do, and they go and screw it up.
Yeah, and
well, screw it up enough. Like, as you said before, I'm not sure what the percentages are. Maybe it's vocal minority.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is, like, it doesn't matter how small of a percentage is. It just takes that
It's
one
still a
person.
percentage.
Yeah.
That one person who has that issue, and then everybody starts speaking up about it, and everybody starts paying attention. Oh yeah, you know what? It is drifting a little bit. You know.
Yeah.
So
Even without knowing what drifting is. Yeah.
Right. So you might not, or we might not see all the numbers for it, but regardless, it's still an issue that's happening, and they need to have a permanent solution for it at the end of the day.
Well, it's going to court, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, class action lawsuits go on for many, many years. So who knows when that will be resolved? By the time it's resolved, we'll have whatever new system they come up with. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't wish anything bad on Nintendo at all, but I do hope they just get their shit together.
Yeah, look, they make so much money off of their IPs that console sales hurting, or not even console sales hurting, because it's not, people are going to buy the Switch regardless. It's the Joy-Cons. Even with that little bit of a problem, they're still making a ton of money. Like, Pokemon Go makes a shit ton of money, and I know I didn't want to swear, but I had to at that moment. God damn it, I just demonetized myself.
I feel betrayed.
That's not the main point of the content, so a little swearing isn't going to hurt you.
Right. So, you know, Pokemon Go made a ton of money. And now you have Pokemon Masters making 26 million opening week. You have Mario Kart Tour, which we all know is going to make a ton of money regardless of how you feel about it.
26 million?
You didn't know that?
Wow. No, that's good numbers, man.
26 million in the first week. That's absolutely redonkulous. So to put into perspective, Pokemon Go made 52 million. I believe in the first week or something like that. So it's made more than half of the money, or just about half of the money that Pokemon Go has made. And the reason why Pokemon Go made that much money is because Pokemon Go is marketed for everybody, where Pokemon Masters is not. We know
And it was a new beast. Like nobody else was playing the other 9.
Right.
Well, not as many people were playing the other 9 game at the time, were they? So yeah.
Right. It's augmented reality. It's something new. Pokemon Masters, we know what the demographic or the target audience is. That's not up for question. So we know where all their money's coming from. But they're making a ton of money off their IPs. To them, the Joy-Con issue is not like priority number 1. We know that, but it's still an issue that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, if it's not priority number 1, then that means they do have a working solution portfolio.
Maybe they're just waiting for the Switch Pro to come out, whatever the hell they're going to call it. You know,
the Switch Pro Elite.
Well, I mean, a couple of the other problems with the Switch is the battery life, which they did improve. So the new version of the original Switch has a bigger battery. They improved the screen.
Yeah.
So it has a.
As I said earlier, though, form factor though, if you've got something that small, what do you expect if you're playing graphic heavy games on it? Well, graphic heavy games. If you're playing games, you're not going to get a good life out of those batteries. You'll get a good enough life, but
so I think the Breath of the Wild is the most taxing game on the battery right now. I think it makes the battery die within 4 hours, something like that.
That's not bad if you're just doing subway. If you're just doing subway traveling.
Yeah, it's not that bad. And I think the normal battery life on the original that was the specs for the original Switch. It was like 4 hours for Breath of the Wild. For any other game, it's about 6 to 8 hours, something like that. So
that's crap loads. I don't know why no one's complaining.
Yeah, well, no, I mean that's the thing. No one's really complaining about it. You know, that's a good battery life. No one's really complaining about it. I'm just saying, like, that's if you want to like pick out what the issues are with it. The issues would be the battery, and then the other issue would be the storage. The internal storage is 32 gigs. You fill that up in like 2 games. So you have to buy. You have to buy external memory cards for that, which is not that bad. Like, you can get really good deals on external memory cards.
Zelos, you said in that video, how easy is it to expand the memory inside?
From what I remember, it was, I think, plug and play almost. I think it was a ribbon cable and possibly 2 solders. Like, super easy from what I remember from Spawnway's video. It's from a while ago.
I have to check that out because I'm kind of curious what kind of memory they use.
That's the kind of thing I would break warranty to do.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Do it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, to be fair, the memory thing, like I said, you could just put in an SD card and get yourself like a 512 gig memory SD card. And
does it take up to that? Does it?
Oh, it takes up to a terabyte or 2 terabytes, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's heaps. Yeah, okay.
But I mean, are you going to spend the money for a 2 terabyte card?
Well, I mean, they're dropping in price to 1 terabyte.
It doesn't matter. It's still damn expensive. I think a 1 terabyte card. Who was it? Richard Review Tech. He spent $300 on a 1 terabyte card. And
well, I mean, I get it if it's your business, and you know.
Yeah, I mean, he put it like this. He's like, you could buy 4. He said you could buy 4 512 gigs cards for less than the price of a terabyte card. I think he said it was like $60 or something like that for the 512 gigabyte cards, and it cost him $300 for that 1 terabyte card. So it was like, I'm like, why did you do it then? But he explained it because he wanted to have all of them in one spot, and he had some extra, I guess, bonus cash on Amazon or whatever. So,
and who the hell wants to hot swap all the time?
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. Oh, my wife is here. She'll be upset if I don't say hi. Hi. So moving along from the Switch, let's talk about some good stuff. Let's do some.
I gotta go to the toilet. Back in a sec.
That's not good stuff. I don't want to hear that.
Well, it's good. It's good for me. It's good for me.
All right.
Hey, Goshen.
Yeah.
So actually, I was wrong. The internal memory is just a chipset that's on the board that you can remove, as it's like a modular.
Oh, okay. So it's not like they're using an M.2 or we know they're not using a small hard drive or anything. They wouldn't fit in there. But whatever. I mean, that's besides the point. Let's move on to more
The final topic, I believe.
happy topic, because like we've all been like crapping all over Modern
Just
Warfare.
crapping on everything.
I know, right? That's like the type of conversation that we've been having. Let's just crap on the video game industry for a little bit.
You're all trash.
This is Gotians crapping hour, which is how long it actually takes me in the toilet.
Did not need to know that. There's just some things in this world you don't need to know about your friends.
Oh, I know, right? So so the next topic is going to be video game releases. We're going to discuss the different video game releases. We are not talking about government stuff on this channel. This is a video game channel.
And we are also not talking about Dokkan.
Oh god, no, we are not talking about Dokkan.
Hashtag bad game.
Thank you.
Hashtag Omni's slowly.
Hashtag we discovered Omni's addicted still.
Hey.
Listen, you're the one who opened
Hashtag
up Dokkan.
how many accounts has Omni had?
Omni, you're the one who opened up Dokkan in the middle of our stream, and we caught you.
Yeah.
We caught you.
But hey, the plus side is I haven't spent money on the game in almost a month now, and B, I'm not streaming it anymore.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but still, we're almost there. You're almost
baby
there.
steps.
Baby steps, I guess. Yeah. All right, so the next topic, final topic, is going to be video game releases for the month of October. October is massive for video games. We've seen it.
Yeah.
We saw it last year. Red Dead 2 freaking just destroyed everything. Like September was big on video games too, but October is the big time. October and November, because we're coming into the holiday season. There are way too many games to talk about for October that we could sit here talking about each and every one and be here for another 2 hours or so. Yeah. So we're gonna just pick out a couple of them and talk about them. If there's any other ones that you guys want to talk about that I missed, feel free to talk about it, and we'll discuss it all together. So first game on my list, Ghost Recon Breakpoint, October 4th, or if you have what is it, the Gold Pass?
Golden Ultimate Edition.
Yeah, it's tomorrow. So
yeah, what time is it there? It's like
it's almost midnight.
Yeah, midnight your time.
Yeah, so Ghost Recon Breakpoint. We're gonna have Mike talk about that game just a little bit more, because that's his area of expertise. I played the beta. I absolutely love the beta. I'm still like, I want to get the game, but I know I don't have enough time in my day or schedule to be able to play it. So
yeah, bro, when you played the beta, I was watching you was saying that it was going to take you could get lost in the game. That's why 8 hours flew by for me for the stream last night. I was like, oh man, I've got to do this and this, get this, and I was just in the world itself.
When I played the beta, I ended up playing it for like 3 hours or something like that, and I didn't even do any of the story. Like the second time.
Yeah.
So the first time that we had the closed beta, I played
Yeah.
I played through the story, at least, to the point where you get to the central hub. But the second time I was like, okay, well, I played through the story the first time. Let me just explore. And I didn't even touch the story. It said story 0%. And I was just like, dude, I've just been here playing this for the past 3 hours and having the time of my life playing it. And it's not even a game that I normally play. So, Mike, why don't you take over for a bit and talk about this game?
Well, I think the part of the reason that it appeals to you is that it does have that RPG factor going into it, as well as the exploratory thing. The exploratory thing is a big thing for it, though. And this world is bigger than the Bolivia world, the fake Bolivia world that they built for Wildlands. And it's similar in structure because they wanted to have as many different terrains as they possibly could. There are some problems with the games, with the game, but that's mainly related to some cosmetic problems and just some general glitchy gameplay, which is they're going to work it out, because they gave 2017 was when Wildlands dropped, and they just progressively slowly started updating that and then bringing in extra chapters. A whole bunch of things happened with that game that people were pleased with. Eventually they got to where they got to with Wildlands. But this game is it's going to be something that's a bit of a lifestyle. There are some changes that are coming up that I can't talk about, but let's just say that there's a life beyond 2 or 3 years for this game. So this is a heck of a release. Heck of a release.
Well, that sounds like it's a good thing for the future of the game. Because, I mean, you always, if you buy a game and knowing that they're going to go ahead and continue supporting the game years down the road, then that's always a good thing.
Yeah, if I bought this game brand new, if I bought this game, it'd be $200.
What do you mean?
And New Zealand, and so with the full Ultimate Edition thing
going
on, yeah. So I would think that if you were to spend money, knowing what I know, but not knowing what, knowing what I know, you'd be okay. Like when they start releasing more information coming out this month, about their map roadmap, as it were, people should be pleased with they spent if they've already spent, or they should be pleased with getting a discount on it for Christmas.
Oh, okay. I do want to, before we continue on the list for October, I want to put some honorable mentions for September, because September had some really big releases.
Good stuff.
We had Borderlands 3, Catherine Full Body, Code Vein, and Link's Awakening. Those were probably the 4 biggest releases for September.
Control.
Oh, and Control. I forgot about Control. I thought Control got released on August.
No, it was early September.
Okay, so 5 big releases there. Borderlands 3, I didn't play. Omni, you play it.
Yes, it did.
How do you enjoy it?
It was a fun. Okay. I don't have enough time to go into all my details.
No,
but
really quick.
it was a fun game. Like, to play with friends. It was a fun looter shooter. The story was fun. The ending fell flat.
You beat the game already?
Oh, yeah.
Huh. Okay. How long did it take you?
Does it give me... Because the downside is I have it on PC, which means I have it through freaking Epic Games, which...
Oh, just give us a ballpark.
I want to say about 40 hours.
That's not too bad, though. For $60
Yeah, that's not bad for the money.
No.
Yeah.
And that's with a lot of side missions, too.
Did you experience any of the frame rate drops that a lot of people talked about?
Oh, God, yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
the
frame rate...
Was it bad
frame rate
enough
in
that it affected you?
Yeah, I actually had to dumb down graphics properly to just
Ooh.
get the frame rates working right.
Okay, so hopefully they... I mean, they're aware of it. Hopefully they fix that optimization issue.
Yeah, my friend who has a way more powerful graphics card than I do, I think he has a 2070, even had to do the same thing just to get it to run smoothly.
Well, I think a lot of the problems with a game like that would be more on your CPU than your GPU, because it's constantly rendering the environment and stuff like that.
No, it's actually got a lot of issues with graphics cards.
Really? Huh. So final note, compare that to Borderlands 2. Is it a good improvement from the second game, or do you prefer the second game?
Gun wise, yes. There are a lot more guns, a lot of different play styles that you can go in. There are certain weapons that are aka anointed to your character. So like if I'm playing the operative, which I did, I played Zane because I liked his witty humor, and for God's sakes, he's Irish. But there you have your 3 different trees. So like there's a gun. I played the Sentinel, which is the drone version of him. And there's guns out there that are anointed to that one. So like my SMG I was using, if I used my Sentinel, my guns gained a 100% increase to fire rate and stuff like that, which is really cool.
Okay, so they made improvements on the trees.
Yes.
And okay, so do you prefer the third one over the second one?
Gun wise, yes. Story wise, no.
Okay.
Is it just more Borderlands, like some people are saying? Yeah, it's just more Borderlands. Like,
It's just more Borderlands.
Not a bad way. Like it shouldn't be like.
Like I said, I love the game. Some of the missions were great because I mean, there's side missions in there. I won't spoil really anything, but like there's side missions. Like there's a lot of Easter eggs in this game, and if you're a big pop culture fan, you're gonna get a lot of them, and you're gonna laugh your butt off. Which like
I saw a few pop up in your stream, which I laughed at. So
yeah,
somebody mentioned that Borderlands 3 is making Xbox One X's overheat and reboot.
Yep, it is.
Holy crap. That's insane. That's optimization issues need to be fixed big time.
But yeah, there's a lot of great little like Easter eggs in the game, which is a lot of fun to hunt down.
Okay.
But at the same time, like I still kind of like the story. I felt like the story was from beginning to end more powerful in Borderlands 2 than in Borderlands 3.
Okay. All right. So kind of like you like them both, pretty much
Yeah,
equally.
I like them both equally. I can
Okay.
play both of them at any given time.
Okay. Zealous, were there any games in September that you played that would kind of just stood out to you?
For September, no. Unfortunately, September was a slow month for me. There were some that I wanted to play, but unfortunately, I just didn't have it in the time frame.
Okay. Mike?
What was it? Sorry.
Any games that released in September that kind of stood out to you that you really enjoyed?
Oh man. Well, Control for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But,
didn't play Control. How was that?
oh my god, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not the greatest gameplay in the world, and I knew that going into the game, like, but at the same time, there's a heck of a story, and if you're playing it on PC, then you've got RTX capable graphic. If you've got an RTX capable graphics card, 1060 and up, the the game is insanely beautiful.
You could say that you have more control over your graphics.
Yeah, baby.
Oh Lord.
Hashtag puns for days.
So for me, the game that stood out was Link's Awakening. Not just because like I'm a massive Zelda fan, because I am, but there's a really good thing about a game like that, and I didn't really notice it until my daughter was playing it. And what I'm talking about is that games these days are too easy. They walk you through the games like crazy. Games like that, like an old school style Zelda game, doesn't hold your hand through the game. And my daughter's sitting there not knowing what the hell to do because it's not telling her where to go. Like, it gives her hints, but it's not straight up telling her, oh, go here. It's not putting it on the map to go here or nothing like that. It's just, you're playing the game, figure it out. And I think that to me, that's something that I love about video games. Like, when they're done in that kind of aspect, that makes you think. It makes you solve puzzles with your brain. Like, there was plenty of times watching her play it that she doesn't know what she needs to do, and I'm like, and I even told her like this, I'm like, just look at everything and think about what you need to do, and you'll figure it out. And like, I gave her encouragement because she beat Ocarina of Time, and I was like, you were able to beat Ocarina of Time, you can play this game, you can do it. So she started playing it. She beat, like, I think the first 3 dungeons by herself, which I was super proud of her. And I can't wait to watch her play it some more because I know she's going to have really, really difficult times playing through that game later on, which is fun for me because I played it when I was little and then playing it again when I'm an adult. To me, it's important that we do have games like that because for me, video games can be used in a way to teach. Like for my little brother, I always use this as an example. My little brother always wanted to play Ocarina of Time because he saw me playing it, and so I told him, I said, okay, well, if you want to play this, you need to learn how to read. So he did. He learned how to read so he could play Ocarina of Time, and he played it, and now he's going to college to like, he's studying to be a lawyer. So if he wasn't big on reading, he wouldn't be doing that. So it's stuff like that. It's like really important that when people tell you, oh, video games rot your brain and stuff like that. No, you can learn a lot from a video game. Anyways, that's a little parent tangent there, but whatever.
No, I totally get it. Yeah, I mean, if there's a whole bunch of things in this world that I would not have known about if games hadn't introduced me to it.
Yeah. So that to me was like a big standout game for September. Like,
what beautiful reasons for liking that. What beautiful reasons for liking that. Make you feel that way, right?
I'm glad I have your approval on that.
That's so cool.
I don't know if you're mocking me or not.
No, that was a great story. Like, that's a really good reason to like that game. Mine was just like, Yeah, it was cool.
I mean,
yours got into this. I changed my brother's life by making him learn to read.
well,
Like that is just unbelievably good storytelling.
I mean the same thing with my daughter too. Like she wanted to play video games, and I told her, okay, learn to read. When you learn to read, I'll let you play video games. And so she learned how to read, and she reads very well now. She reads at a 4th grade level. She's in 3rd grade. And so the first game that we got her was Yokai Watch 2, and RPGs, there's a lot of reading involved in them. So she beat Yokai Watch 2. She has like 400 hours in that game, which is crazy.
Holy hell.
Yeah. So, she did that, and then I bought Ocarina of Time for her, and I told her, when you beat Ocarina of Time, I will buy you Majora's Mask. So now I got to buy her Majora's Mask. And I don't mind doing it because it's awesome. It makes me happy that she's doing that. Next game, Destiny 2. I know Omni's excited for this one. Take it away, Omni.
What's going on with Destiny 2?
What makes you think I'm... Shut up.
Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, October 1st.
Yes,
Take it away.
Destiny 2 Shadowkeep. Yeah. No, I'll be live all day tomorrow with it. I'm going to be I literally took 3 days off to play it.
Jesus Christ, did you really?
Yes. I'm off the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Oh my God.
Shut up. But no, it's the latest DLC for Destiny. It's Bungie's first major DLC since their I want to say rough breakup, but it was like the greatest thing to ever happen to them, with them just dumping Activision to the side of the curb. So a lot of stuff is, now resting on them. For the first time, it's, hey, if we mess this up, it's our fault. We can't blame anybody else.
Yeah, but do you think this is going to be their moment? Their moment,
Yes.
where they just turn around, show their ass, and go, "Oh, you're missing all of this."
110%. I'm saying 110% yes for one reason alone. Okay, we're gonna go one reason alone.
Yeah.
The first thing that they did when Shadowkeep was coming close, they pushed it back.
Right, you know what? That's okay. People want to give companies hate for pushing back games. And I'm glad
I 100% support it.
I'm glad that you mentioned that, because when it's pushed back for a good reason, I am all for that. Like,
I remember the reason when they posted that tweet. They're like, "Hey, just so you guys know, so we're not bringing this game out September 14th. It's coming out October 1st. There were things in this game we were not happy about."
And there you go. And that's the sign that you're going to like it,
Yeah.
Companies like Nintendo do it all the time.
Exactly.
Like Metroid Prime 4 has been in development for a few years now. And originally it was going to be Bandai that was handling that. And Nintendo didn't like the direction they were taking it. So they said, no, we're going to part ways. We're going to go with Retro Studios again. And now they scrapped the whole thing and they're redoing it. And they're like, we don't know when it's going to be released. Just know that we're working on it. We're redoing all of it. And I'm like, you know what? That is fine by me.
Yeah,
it's Metroid. It's Metroid. They better get it right.
Another thing, but the thing about Destiny 2 Shadowkeep, things I'm looking forward to is they're finally accepting the fact that they are an MMO FPS. That is the tag they have been for so long shaming and being like, no, we are not that. We are just a first-person shooter. They finally are accepting the fact that they are an MMO FPS. And with the newest update coming out, which is Armor 2.0. In Armor 2.0, you are able to wear whatever armor you want, how you want it, and be able to customize what perks are on that armor to build the character you want to play. To build the Guardian you want to play.
Oh, snap. I might have to come back.
Yeah, same. Yeah, because they're going into that free-to-play model soon, eh? Well, free to.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, well, New Light drops, I think, alongside this.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, for all you guys who are listening right now, if you guys want to try out Destiny and you have a PC, PlayStation, or Xbox, they are bringing out a free-to-play version called Destiny New Light, which gives you the entire Year 1 campaign for free. So enjoy to try out and play. If you don't like it, you don't have to spend a dime. If you want to continue, get Shadowkeep and continue your journey.
Nice.
So yeah, I know. I know. What gave you that idea? That I'm excited for it.
All right. Since Zelos spoke up, next game on the list is Alliance Alive HD. I'm gonna have Zelos talk about it because he's been playing it because he's helping me out. Try not to say anything you're not allowed to say.
Got it.
So talk about the game, but don't talk about the game. No. In all seriousness,
So I've been eating a lot of sandwiches.
So what you're saying is there's this one guy in this one place, and things happen.
No, let's be real. I mean, the game. Okay, so Alliance Alive, just really quick to paint the premise for you guys who haven't played this game or don't follow it. It originally came out on the 3DS, so this is an HD remaster port that's on the PS4 and Switch. And when I say remaster, completely redone. So obviously, because you're going from a handheld with 2 screens to your PS4 and Switch. So Zelos, go ahead and talk about the game.
I'm actually in love with this game. In the 3 days or so, I've clocked over 20 hours already. It has a lot of throwbacks in the way it plays and a lot of the systems, the way it looks and feels as you play through the game to old JRPGs, which I absolutely love. And, I was telling Goshen, I hit a wall. I hit a difficulty spike that just smacked me right in the face, and I had to go back and grind for 3 hours to get past. I absolutely love that kind of stuff. I think anyone who is into classic JRPGs from like PlayStation 1 era is absolutely going to love this game. I'm really sad that I missed it the first go round on the 3DS. So I'm really glad it's done and play it now, and I'm really enjoying it. I think I can see myself dropping 60, 70, 80 hours in this game, just doing everything that's available to me.
Neat.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello.
Sorry, I stepped away for a minute.
Yeah,
I just saw it get quiet, and I was like, oh, shit, what happened?
But yeah, all right.
All right, so Zelos is actually working on that game for me. He's helping me out. Expect to see hopefully a non-spoiler. I think you have enough content you can do a non-spoiler review by now, right?
When does it officially drop?
Yeah, this officially drops October 8th. So expect to see a non-spoiler review on the channel October 4th. Zelos is going to be maining that for me, so thank you so much, dude, as part of the media group now. So there you go. Officially drops October 8th on PS4 and Switch. Next game, I actually passed over this, but I just want to talk about a little bit in case maybe you guys played it. Ghostbusters getting the remaster on October 4th. PS4, Xbox One, and PC and Switch. Did you guys play the PS3 version?
Nope.
Yes, it was fantastic. I love that game.
A lot of people liked it. They said it was it was at the part 3 that they wanted.
Yeah, it was. I think Dan Aykroyd that said that the way they did the game was basically the plot they had come up with for the third movie.
Right. Which I think is always great when you have the voice actor or the actual actors reprise their roles and stuff like that. So it's great.
Yeah.
So that was just kind of like a passing mention because the game's been out. You can grab it on PS3.
Yeah.
So another one, Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. So is it safe to say that at least some of us have played Banjo-Kazooie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we all played Banjo-Kazooie. Okay, so this makes it easier. Yooka-Laylee is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie, made by the same team. PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch. Look, if I had enough time and money on my day and stuff like that, I'd pick it up for nostalgic purposes because it's freaking Banjo-Kazooie, but with a bat and a chameleon.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be a lot of fun. I know my kids would love to play it. I don't really have much to say about it, just that it's a nostalgic type of game. That's pretty much what it is at the end of the day. All right, so Overwatch, and you guys play Overwatch.
I have, yes.
So okay, Overwatch coming on the Switch. You guys think that's a good thing?
If you're a fan of the game and you want a portable version of it, go for it. But I honestly feel like it's still gonna be better on a Holden console.
Yeah.
The hardware's wrong.
The hardware's wrong?
It's not fast enough.
That's true. Well, you have to understand they'll probably dumb down the the graphics on it and stuff like that to fit the
Yeah, but
the
they can dumb
Switch.
down the graphics all day long. But if the FPS isn't going, like if the frames per second aren't going to be good enough, it's going to kill the functionality of the game.
True, but I mean the Switch can do 60 frames per second.
Doesn't matter. 60 FPS.
It depends on the game. Like it really does. It can't do it all the time. I've seen some issues and frame rates for certain games, but
yeah,
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It can't possibly be part of the competitive scene. That's for sure.
Oh no.
They're gonna keep that on the PC side.
Yeah, I was gonna say I could see that being PC all day, but it's always nice when they port things over like that. I mean, because so many people probably want to play it and they can't because they don't have a powerful computer or they don't have a PS4 or an Xbox or whatever. You know, they're just like, okay, well, I got a Switch. When is this coming so I can play it? That's October 15th. I mean, I've never been a big Overwatch fan. That's not for me, but
is this leading into Overwatch going to free to play?
I don't think so.
Well, it just had a massive rebalance patch.
Yeah.
Which I think is catering to the Switch release.
Yeah.
In some ways, I'm sure on the back end for sure.
Yeah.
So is it cross-play between the Switch and the PC? Because that's ridiculous.
No, I haven't heard anything like that yet.
Yeah, we'd have to look into it. I have no idea. I have some people who play Overwatch like religiously that I interact with, so I can just ask them if they know anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition, October 15th on the Switch. You guys play The Witcher?
Not a fan.
Not a fan? You didn't like The Witcher series?
I never liked the Witcher series. I dabbled in 2 a little bit, but I wasn't a big fan.
Mike?
Got the metal case version, so yeah.
Safe to say you're a fan.
Steel case, yeah, man. It's a great game. For if you want to play long term storyline stuff, you know, and you like to slowly move around the ground, because it's not a fast game.
Basically like Dragon Age games.
Yeah, Dragon Age. If you like Dragon Age, you love it. I totally understand why they're putting that game on the Nintendo Switch, because it leads into the idea of large lands to explore.
Yeah.
You know, and that's Zelda titles, right? So that's exactly what that is. So it leads into that sort of thing. Should be interesting to see. I haven't seen much footage of it, but I kind of want to see, because it was one of the most beautiful games ever made.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to see what the graphics output is on that. I'll have to go look that up this afternoon, I think.
All right. Next game, Little Town Hero. I've seen stuff on this game. It looks pretty. Like I don't have anything else to say about it except it looks pretty. It's basically a game that takes place in a town. It's made by Game Freak, which is the studio that does Pokemon. And the entire game revolves around this town that's attacked by monsters and stuff like that. I think it'd be a lot of fun to just sit down and play. I think it's going to be a digital-only game, to be honest, though. I don't know if any of you guys followed that one at all.
No.
I haven't followed anything on it.
Okay.
No, I saw a trailer, I think, and that's about it.
All right, so Call of Duty, we've talked about that. It's October 25th. I don't think we got to talk about that anymore.
No.
Medieval. Who played Medieval back on the PS1?
Oh,
Raise your hand, even though we can't see.
Sledgehammered maggots in those. Oh God, just so good.
Zelos, you're a retro fan. Did you play Medieval?
Sure did.
Yeah. Omni, did you or not really?
I did. I don't have many memories of it, but I do remember playing. I think I played it more at my friend's place.
Yeah, Medieval.
Lord Fortescue.
Medieval was a game that that came around. It came around the time that we had games like now I can't even think of the name of it. We had brawler games, man. Those were the games back in the day. Brawler games like the Die Hard arcade.
Yeah.
Man, like
Streets of Rage.
Streets of Rage was earlier than that, but no, I was thinking about I can't even remember now, but it doesn't matter. Freaking hack and slash brawler style game set in a medieval time with magic and monsters and zombies, and you play as a skeleton, and it's just fantastic in every sense of the word. And the remaster looks,
it pushed the limits.
It
It pushed the limits. at the
it
time.
did. It did. And the remaster looks gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. October 25th. Like, if you guys are fans of hack and slash style games, you would like this one. I can't see it going bad. I mean, it could, but I can't see it going bad.
If they just stick with the what happened in the first game and just made it pretty and cleaned up a few of the vocals and all the rest of it, they're fine.
Yeah.
The gravy.
Yeah,
Stick to the script.
I don't see Sony messing this one up just because that was one of their big titles back on the PS1 days, and they usually treat their titles well. So hopefully that's the case here. Here's a game that I'm really excited for. Outer Worlds.
Yes.
October 25th. I'm super excited for this. PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but not on Steam until 2020, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Wait, what platform is it going on?
PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but you can play it on your PC via what's the Xbox service? Game Pass.
Game Pass, okay.
So you can play it on your PC via Xbox Game Pass, but if you want to play it on
Game
Steam,
Pass, so good. Sorry, so good.
No, it is. If you want to play it on Steam, though, you gotta wait until 2020. But oh my god, I'm so pumped for this game. Made by Obsidian, the team behind Fallout New Vegas, which is my favorite Fallout game. So, it looks gorgeous. Super excited to lose my life in this, and I don't know who else.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to be taking a quick look at it at PAX.
Oh, lucky.
So, yeah.
Lucky.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that's going to, because as you say, it was that studio that brought us New Vegas and the rest of it. It's not shy from saying, if you look at it directly, you know that this is a game that the team wanted to make with the Fallout title on, with the Fallout on title.
Yeah.
On it.
You can see that, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's something that, like, well, if we'd done Fallout, this is what it would have looked like.
Well, I mean,
but what would do?
The game's been in development for a long time, so
yeah,
we haven't heard much from this team since Fallout New Vegas. They've had a few titles here and there, but nothing really big. And now this one getting as much attention as it is, I honestly, if all goes well, I could see this being a contender for Game of the Year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll have closer reports on that.
I don't
get to it.
Will it win? I don't know, but being nominated, I could see it.
Yeah, I mean, unless a massive title comes out.
Yeah,
by surprise,
which we do have, which is Death Stranding.
Yeah, yeah.
You're one of those that's on the fence about it.
I'm so hard on the not going to play it fence, like the side of the fence, that I'm just like, nah.
I'm playing it. I have the collector's edition pre-ordered and everything. I want to get that peeing mechanic. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, look, it's one that I'm going to watch, but it's definitely not one I'm going to play.
Fair enough. All right, so the next few games are, I would say mentions. I mean, they're ports. You have Disgaea 4 Complete. The Disgaea series is probably one of the longest running series, if not the longest running series for what is it, NIS America, or like the team behind them. Disgaea is from the PS2 era, and they're just tactical RPGs, and it's a fun game with a lot of humor, and it's not for everybody, but the core fan base that it has is massive.
Yeah, I know some people are huge on the Disgaea series.
Yeah,
I mean,
you want to talk about getting lost, you can dump in 200 plus hours of gameplay in this because of how much replayability it has. And that's going to be on PS4 and Switch October 29th. Resident Evil 5 and 6 are getting ports over the Switch. I'm kind of tired of the Resident Evil ports at this point. Plus those two titles.
Just why? Why bother? Why?
Well,
why are they doing that?
They want to, because they
Money,
released
I guess,
everything else. Yeah, it's just money. And I mean, those are my two least favorite Resident Evil games. So it's just whatever for me on that. That's October 29th. We have Atelier Ryza, which I'm super excited for because I'm a huge Atelier fan. And that's coming out October 29th. If I get this wrong, NS America and Koei Tecmo is gonna shit all over me.
No, it's 29th, but it's November 1st for Europe.
Okay. So yeah, thank you. October 29th. Super pumped for this game. This title is the highest selling. The game's not even out yet. It's the highest selling Atelier game to date.
What are they selling it? Like let's talk some money. What are they doing?
It's a $60 title. The
No, like what's the sales?
Oh, I have to pull it up. It's all over Twitter and stuff like that. Give me a second, I'll pull it up. But so I mean, and to be honest, like it's a small niche community, but the fact that it's become the highest selling title just speaks volumes for this kind of game, because the more people who are excited about this game, the more games they will release in that universe. And this series has been around since PS1 era, so it's been around for a long time. Where is the freaking dude? Koei Tecmo tweets so much it drives me crazy. Let me actually go.
Because they got like several different people, like 100 different people from 10 different countries.
Well, no, I'm just on the North American one. Hold on. It's better for me to just check the Discord. But so to put into perspective, so NIS America does the collector's editions for this game, and their collector's editions are $100 each, and so they do collector's editions for PS4 and Switch. The collector's editions are all sold out, and they do sell out, but they usually don't sell out as quickly as they had, which is absolutely crazy. You know what? I can't find the freaking numbers right now. I had them earlier today, and I can't find them now. Go figure.
Well, I mean, if you say they're sold out of what their base stock was, then
okay. So Atelier Ryza sales tops 150,000 units in the first week, and the game's game's not out yet. The game's not out.
Crushing it. No.
And that's only Japan. Game's not out. It's gonna have a global release. This is the first Atelier game that is getting a global release.
What? Straight off the bat?
Yeah, a global release. So
wow.
Oh no, okay, so it did release in Japan on the 26th. But either way, it's still getting the global release because it's within the same month, or within a month time. But because they're not doing dubbing or nothing like that. It's already translated, send out and stuff like that. Like good to go. So that's only in Japan. So you're not counting pre-orders for the game worldwide. You're not counting collector's editions worldwide. So 150 copies in Japan, and it's the biggest release for this series in the 22-year-old series is what they're saying.
That's fantastic.
That is, because it makes me excited because I'm a huge fan of the series, and like I said, the more people who are interested in this game, the more titles will get released. Saying that we haven't had that problem, because we've been getting every single game since the PS3 era, but we've had games that we didn't get released, so this just kind of solidifies the fact that
it just goes to show like the dedication of that studio too, doesn't it? And the fans that are behind that whole.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, Koei Tecmo, they bought out a lot of companies. Like Gust so all these companies were independent companies back then before they merged. So you had Gust, who is the actual development team behind Atelier Ryza and the Atelier series as a whole. Who also Gust is also working on the Fairy Tail game that's releasing next year, which that's going to be a huge game. And so Koei Tecmo bought out Gust and bought out a whole bunch of different companies, and so like they can just dump all of this production into all these games, which is fantastic. Enough about that game though. Let's move on. Vampire is getting released on the Switch. Any of you guys played that when it got released everywhere else?
Nope.
You didn't like it too much. I mean, it's one of those games like you either liked it or you didn't.
Yeah. It just felt dated. Felt like
a PS3 game, right? I mean, from what I saw, it looked like a PS3 game.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it was. And that was the same problem they had with several other games that got released around that time. Was that it looked like they started developing it 5 years ago, and they didn't update anything since the initial meeting, which was a disappointment. But in saying that, it'll probably look great on the Nintendo Switch.
You know what though? You're right. Because it's not, it's not gonna require like massive graphics or anything.
Yeah.
So you're completely right on that. Okay, here's one. Aladdin and the Lion King Disney Classic Games.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to break my controller anytime soon.
Did you guys play these when you were like back in the day? Like
I
on the
haven't.
so these are the Sega Genesis versions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lion King was one of the hardest games to beat back in the Sega Genesis era.
I reckon it'd still be one of the hardest games
Probably.
to beat. Full stop. Yeah. Oh man, all those Disney titles that came out at that time, because they're doing Hercules too, aren't they?
Oh, I don't know. I just know that they did so you had the Sega Genesis collection or the Sega Genesis Mini that got released recently and had all the Disney titles on them. You had Mickey's Castle of Illusion, Mickey and Donald. I think it was the sequel to that. So like all those, I loved playing those games back then. I loved them. They were some of my favorite games, and they're still really good games. Aladdin and the Lion King. God, I remember how hard that was. Aladdin straight up had a Battletoads level in it. You know that level where you had to like go up and down avoiding the walls? Yeah, Aladdin had that. That level pissed me off. I remember playing that when I was little. I was like, dude, no. Just no. I think I beat the game maybe twice. Because it's just way too difficult. And then Lion King, I don't even think I beat the Lion King.
The Lion King wasn't a good title, admittedly. Well, it wasn't. It was trash. It was indicative of its time that they had to turn out a title for a game. They went, okay, here you go. And then everybody went, oh, it's just basically a reskin of such and such game.
Yeah,
and yeah.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was freaking difficult for how old was I back then? I don't remember. But yeah, it was difficult for me back then. And I don't know. Maybe I'll pick it up so my kids can play it and not beat it. Maybe. All right. So next.
But I get why they're doing it though.
Yeah. I mean, they're trying to get on the hype train of all the Disney movies.
Well, the movies that just popped up from the last couple of months, so yeah. Yeah.
All right. So last two games. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel releases October 22nd. That's part 3, I should say. I didn't finish the title. These games, okay, so I've noticed finishing the first one, now playing the second one. These games make me think of Final Fantasy VII. And here's the reason why. Because everybody's excited for the remake, but a lot of people are concerned because the remake only covers Midgar. So everyone's like, how long are these games going to be? Or how many games are we going to have?
Well, the first episode, yeah, right.
Right. And so Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel series, the reason why it reminds me of that is because the first game makes me think of like Disc 1. The second game, Disc 2. The third game, Disc 3, and so on and so forth. Because the way that the first game ended felt like an ending of a first disc. So if you play Final Fantasy VIII, spoilers, you go and you beat the sorceress, and then Squall gets stabbed in the chest by a thing of ice, and then the disc ends, and you're like, what the hell happened? And then you go and you play disc 2, and Squall's fine. The end of disc 1 of Final Fantasy VII, spoilers, Aerith gets stabbed in the back. And
hey, man.
Even though it's not spoilers, that's still a tender thing to talk about. Okay.
Come on.
So
why you bring that up?
Too soon, Goshen. Too soon.
Too soon from 97. Shut up. So she gets stabbed in the back.
It still hurts, okay?
We're gonna have to relive it here next year.
Oh goodness. And you know what? No, we aren't. We aren't, because they're not gonna end it there. They're thinking of ending the remake when they leave Midgar.
Really?
Yeah, which is like the halfway point of the first disc. But they said it's gonna be a full title game, so that makes me think 60 hours in Midgar. But so, at the end of the first disc, Cloud falls into I forget the name of the freaking live stream. He falls into the live stream and all that stuff. He gets all screwed up in the head and all that stuff. So Legend of Hero Trails of Cold Steel reminds me of that because when I beat the first one, spoilers, I don't know if you guys are even going to play it or not, but the first one, the main character, so they're all students, and like the story in this game, like all of it is fluff. It's all filler in the first game, except for like the last 2 chapters, which kind of pisses me off because the last 2 chapters is like the last 15 hours of the game. And you could have just skipped a lot of the stuff and just put in the last 2 chapters, and then we would have been good. So, war breaks out in the lands, and different factions come to attack the school that these kids are in. They're teenagers, and so they're trying to defend the school. And the main character summons some super Gundam thing. Yes, there's apparently Gundams in this game, and he freaking starts fighting the opposing force. He loses, and then his classmates who don't have these super mega Gundam things go to defend him, and they tell him, oh, you can leave, we'll stay here and we'll fight. And the main character's like, no, you're gonna die. And they're like, we won't die, we'll be fine. And I'm like, no, you're gonna die, because if he lost and he has this big mecha Gundam thing and you don't have shit except like a staff and swords, the hell are you gonna do? And so main character flies off like against his will, and that's where the game leaves you. And I'm like, please insert disc 2. Like, that's what it reminded me of. So Trails of Cold Steel 3, I'm excited to play it just because now the story actually picks up, and yeah, October 22nd it comes out. Last game to talk about. I've never played this series, so if you guys have, chime in. Luigi's Mansion 3.
Oh,
October 31st.
I have played the first one and a little bit of the second one. I'm looking forward to it, but it's not gonna be a day one thing for me.
Zelos?
It isn't.
first game was all right. I never played the second one. I was never big into a lot of the offshoot Mario games.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I didn't play. Like, I pretty much stopped after 64. I did play a little bit of Galaxies. I didn't care for Sunshine, but I did enjoy Galaxy.
Sunshine was good though.
I didn't play it. I'm sorry.
Oh, that was good. That's like you saying you didn't play Tales of the Abyss. Tales of the Abyss is one of the best ones.
Oh, you know what? You skipped one of the games I wanted to talk about, so I don't want to hear it.
Oh, well, that's why I said. I mean, if I skip a game, tell me what.
Oh, you skipped the HD remake of Grandia 1.
No, that got released last month.
Oh, well, for Switch and the PS4, you're right. PC comes out along with the HD remaster of 2 on October 15th.
Oh, see, I forgot about that. And my bad. I mean, like I said, it came out last month. I mean, that's made by Gung Ho, and I'm a Gung Ho ambassador. So I should have remembered that. My bad.
You're fine.
Go. You want to talk about it? Talk about it. Go.
Oh, I'm super hyped for this. So that is one of the few games I wish I owned the original disc for. I didn't get a chance to really play it after its original release. Like, I had to rent it. That's how I played that originally. And so to finally get a copy of it that's not like the PlayStation download version, I'm super excited. Based on the trailer and the graphics they posted, it is beautiful to look at. And Grandia 2 looks fantastic on the screenshots you can see from the Switch port. Versus the anniversary edition, night and day difference. So it's like, wow. Hopefully I don't have to buy it again. Hopefully this upgrade my anniversary edition on PC. But oh my god, they're fantastic looking. I highly recommend if you've never played the games and you like JRPGs, absolutely dive in and buy these.
Well, Gung Ho did a fantastic job with it. I mean, like you said, it looks gorgeous. And they're just as passionate as the fans are for that game. And I like I said, I'm a Gung Ho ambassador. I talk to the staff. I know that they're excited for it. The only thing that upset me is that I'm a Gung Ho ambassador and I couldn't get a review copy for it. Like, what? Whatever.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. It's all right. It's all right. I love those guys over there. They freaking worked on Teppen, and they're super super cool guys.
You win some, you lose some. Eh?
Yeah. But they're, like I said, that they worked hard on that game. They were just as passionate as the fans are. So hopefully people who play it aren't disappointed. I know for a fact it's not going to be the Secret of Mana treatment. I was so disappointed in that. Stupid freaking Square Enix ruining that game for me. But it is what it is. All right. So that's going to be all the topics today. Was there anything else you guys wanted to mention before we head off?
I got one more.
Okay.
It's kind of an outlier there for most people, but the new Super Robot Wars 5 game is coming out. It's going to be Switch only, October 3rd. Now, you can't get it in the US, but you can import the Asia copy, which will have English on it, menus and
Is that in the same series as Super Robot Tyson?
the Tyson's a spinoff
Okay.
of that franchise, but
So it's still the same
yes,
franchise.
yes, it's just that was a spinoff story.
Okay, because I love that game on the 3DS, the OG Saga.
Oh yeah, if we ever got like the Super Robot War games in the US, I'd die. They are so good and so fun.
Well,
There's so many of them.
They released a few of them, like on the Game Boy Advance and stuff like that.
Yeah, the problem is it comes down to licensing because there's so many IPs in it,
Oh, is there?
and that's why we don't see them. Yeah, oh yeah, Gundam, Evangelion, Gunbuster.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, all sorts of. They had Gurren Lagann in one of them.
Because I know that
there's just so much.
I know that in Super Robot Tyson OG Saga they had Cosmos and they had characters from Xenosaga in it. So I was like, okay, this is a lot of fun. So
What game are you talking about there? Sorry, I just
Super
missed it.
Super Robot Wars or Super Robot Tyson, the spin-off of it.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Role playing games, pretty much. I think the Robot Wars is tactical, right?
Yeah, it's more tactical.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The spin-off ones, the Tyson is more just RPG style, like random encounters, and then it becomes like a fighting game style, which is really cool with combos and stuff like that. Like you got to juggle the enemies to continue the combos.
Yeah, that was a really interesting game. I really wish we would have gotten the second one.
I know, Exceed, that would have been great. Anyways, that's gonna be it, guys. Thank you so much for joining. This was fun. This was a long one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be here this long. I thought I was just going to pop in at the end of your stream.
Well, we pulled you in, so we had some fun. All right, a lot of topics today. Anything else before we head out?
No, I'm
Speak
good.
your piece. Good.
Yeah. We love you all. And if we could, we would hug you. There you go.
No, that's not allowed anymore. Don't you remember the whole Vic?
Oh, okay. Yes, sorry.
Yeah, that's
no.
not allowed. No more hugging. Unless
No
you're
hugs.
unless
Hate
you're
you guys.
Hispanic like
Hate
me, because then hugging's part of our culture. So that's
okay.
That's acceptable.
Oh,
You
nice.
didn't know that? Like, we hug all the time as Hispanics. That's how we say hello. No, I'm being serious though.
I'm not.
I'm not. I'm nodding. Like again.
No, but Omni's laughing. I'm being serious. That's how we say hello. Like the French
That's because he got a hug, right? He got a hug.
Yeah, see, he got a hug. Pilk got a hug. That's how I say hello. Like the French, they kiss on the cheek twice, and I hug. That's what we do. All right, I'm gonna head out, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining today. Appreciate it. We haven't had one of these in a while, and thank you, Zelos, for joining today. And that's it. So peace out. You guys have a great rest of your night. And I'm gonna play some Aerith music because make you guys sad.
You bastard. Never mind.
Well, I'm playing it right now. So I think they can still hear us.
I'm happy I got it muted.
Oh, you're happy you got it
I'm not-
muted?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not gonna go to.
His view
I'm not gonna go.
doesn't
I'm not
count.
gonna. I'm not gonna go to bed depressed tonight.
Oh. Well, I had some people sub, so I gotta play the roll end credits too.
Aw.
Yeah. Once their names pop up, then I can end it. Okay, there it goes. Bye.